Yeah, what's up, everybody? Alright, I think I'm ready. I'm not ready, but I'm ready. Alright. Alright, we're working on it. We're still working on it. Holy shit, brother. Alright. We are here. We are here. What is up, everyone? Happy almost New Year. Are you ready, Freddy? Are we talking about Freddy Krueger? Is Freddy Krueger doing his thing tonight? This is not Elm Street, damn it. Hey, Oz, Happy New Year, my guy. I'm still setting up, kind of. Or I'm just being retarded. Hold on, I'm just checking some nonsense. Alright, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did add another emote to the channel. I yeeted one. We have a new emote, guys. I will be doing some things in terms of getting ready for the new year, alright? Particularly for the Thursday night stream. I have a couple of things I'm working on. Nothing crazy. Nothing. Don't get your expectations too high. But we have one little addition. We have Goon, where he's spazzing out. There we go, baby. Goon. As for adding more emotes, I still have way more emotes to add to the channel. You just goon about, Unforgiven. You don't have to ask where to goon. Just goon about, brother. But definitely want to add more emotes to the channel, but need more channel members. We need like 21 more. Holy shit. So, if you want to, consider becoming a channel member. 99 cents gets you instant access to the Discord, allows you to use the dope-ass emotes. Alright, and it's overall just, we can contribute to adding more emotes to the channel. Yes, it is RoboCop. And if you actually see the little detail, which you probably can't, he's technically gooning, and there may be some robo oil that's spewing out and about. Just saying. Yes, Oz would exactly perfect. Oz said I'd buy that for $1. Exactly. That's all you need, bro. That's all. Yo, Dragoon Knight was good, my guy. Rake, what's up? Philip, Elliot, Har. Love that movie character, dude. We actually have some RoboCop news for Thursday, man, but I'm gonna save it for Thursday. But we still got like 2/3 of this video that we were watching. And it's been a good watch so far. Tomboy oil, oh my god, PoE 2 on the handheld. Gooning in the backyard, hey, can't argue that, brother. That's what's up. Quiet Cries is good, fam. Gaming Wolf. Oh man, Unforgiven pulling up. Nick, good to see you. Who's ready to goon? Oh man, y'all funny as hell. Nagal, good to see you. Blazing Silver had to go, but he stopped by to say hi, and I appreciate that. My man, Elemental Hero. I did add a little something, alright? We have a little extra something here that's interesting. I have one of these. Alright, I bought one of these. It's like a little portable microphone. Also, I could be a nuisance even from work. That's the goal. To be a fucking nuisance from work. Right? Because I was on Solid Cast this past Thursday, and my mic sucked because I was basically talking through my phone. And it's really hard to get a word in on people that don't shut the fuck up and stop acting like a fucking cunt. Right? When your microphones stink, okay? So got a little upgrade so that I could be an absolute piece of shit nuisance from afar, okay? Even when I'm working. Lucky for you, I gooned before the stream. This is a goon session, Rezzy. What are you doing, dog? What are you doing? You're all out already? Holy shit. Rizzy's here like, bro, I shot all my shots. Now I'm shooting blanks, dog. Like, oh shit. Oh man, I didn't even tweet this out. Hold on. Hold on. I didn't even tweet it out. I did have a pre-tweet though. Like you pre-gooned. Alright, I have a pre-tweet. Hold on. Alright, so yo, my man Mikey becoming a cult at Cage member. Appreciate that, Doc. What a fucking beast, Doc. Alright, so let me just throw this in here. We got so there's been some interesting things that have transpired for me simply just reacting to this YouTuber. And I don't know how to feel about it other than, you know, some people are being at least reasonable or at least informative. But there's also people being fucking cunts about it too. And we gonna dive a little bit into that. Because I don't appreciate the country. Alright? I don't appreciate the country. Alright, so I posted it in the Discord. I posted it on Twitter. RoboCop, I heard, is getting a new movie with the writers from the first movie. Oh, shit. It's a goon circle jerk. Yep, absolutely, Oz. It's a goon jerk. No shock there, Cass. So, like, dude, you know, I don't keep up with a lot of YouTubers, particularly because I simply don't have the fucking time, alright? Like, I don't know if people know this, but motherfuckers can't be on YouTube all day, every day, alright? Especially when they do YouTube. It just doesn't work that way. It's not realistic. It's not healthy, alright? You know, like, I mostly do my content. I keep up with my immediates. And I keep it moving usually. So I don't know everybody in the YouTube space. I think that's fair to say. I think everyone can understand that it'd be literally impossible to keep up with everyone in the YouTube space. What's up about your boy MBG wanting to jump ship and go Team Green? Huh? If you want it, I don't know anything about that. This ain't the stream for it. But if you want to post something in Twilight Zone of Gaming for Twilight Zone of Gaming and react requests, you're more than welcome to do so, Reezy. MB Goon, happy New Year's Eve, Ang. Appreciate that. Yes, we are spending New Year's Eve reacting to some interesting content. Maki says, I'm ready to goon. Let's go. Chaos Dragon, happy New Year, sir. Remember to protect your booty hole. Are you good, brother? Are you good? I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. But guys, I hope you're having a really good day. Last day of the year. You got in strong, right? With your strong goon arm. But yeah, this is just, I'm gonna show you some really strange behavior. And yes, it's on my channel personally. Let's see if my camera decides to work. It might take a second. Yeah, my camera wants to crap out like the last day of the year, pretty much. All right, got it to work though. All right, so strange behavior at play. This is my live stream from yesterday, right? Good live stream. We had fun. All right, so here comes the bitch ass motherfuckers like this that want to ruin some good fun. So we have this person right here, Logan Wayne 7898. Says anyone supporting SFO is most likely a grifter, so I'm out. And by SFO, he's talking about shortfatotaku. How does that work? How? you know, there's such things as bad creators, right? And that's fair. There's definitely bad creators out here. And there's creators that you don't always agree with. That's the thing too. But there's also a thing as bad supporters. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, oh, if you react to this person's video, because that's realistically all I'm doing. I'm just reacting to the dude's video because I had pre-watched a little bit of the video, and I'm like, oh, this is actually good, interesting, informative. Like, this would be cool to react to. And we're reacting to it. And I'm praising the good quality work that's presented to me. I do not know fucking, all right, shortfatotaku's entire YouTube history. I don't know this person. Like, I'm just reacting to a video that I pre-watched a bit of and seemed pretty decent. Yo, Rick, you're going into the new year first? I guess I'll be in 2025 before you guys. Yes, let us know how 2025 is, Rick, when you do get there. Mitty, what's good, my man? Happy New Year to you. I know you're over in Aussie land, so you already celebrated, or you're still in the middle of celebrating. But yeah, this whole thing where it's like you reacting, that's realistically all this is. You're reacting to a YouTuber I don't like, therefore you're a grifter. Like, you sound like such a fucking bitch. And I'm gonna, like, I'm just gonna call you what you are. You are a fucking bitch. And not for nothing, suck dick. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, this is such dumbass behavior, and not for nothing. So I looked at this person, I'm like, who the fuck is this? I never see them in my comment section. This is a person that watches, maybe, it seems to be. I can't say for sure. Maybe he watches every video. But I tend to feel like motherfuckers like this that don't know me would say some shit like this. So this dude watches one of my videos maybe every 3 months because I've looked at the videos he's commented on. Basically, it's every 3 months he decides to comment and watch a video and comment. Never had a problem with me. Apparently, all the comments that he's put are relatively in agreement with me or relatively reasonable. Like, man, she's reacting to this one dude. Oh, the bitch is a grifter. It's fucking retarded, bro. Like, sorry, I can't keep up with shortfatotaku. I didn't know this person prior. I just seen this video and it was a pretty decent video. So it's like, hey, let's react to it. But apparently that's too fucking much for some people. Crazy. Crazy ass work, bro. People are fucking insane sometimes, man. You know? So I understand that there's bad creators out there. And I have no history of knowing shortfatotaku to say whether he's good or bad or not. And some guys have criticized him to me personally, and I get that, but there's also bad supporters too, and people like that are bad fucking supporters. Yo, my man Bishop, happy New Year to you, dog. Hope your New Year's going well, brother. I woke up like an hour ago. I woke up a whole hour ago. Epic Treasure, happy New Year to you. She's over in Aussie land too. It's definitely, she's been celebrating for a few hours now. 5 minutes to New Year. That is awesome, Bishop. Take care of yourself. Have an awesome New Year. All right. Don't get too plastered. Only thing I know about shortfatotaku was he said he didn't feel bad to the firefighter died at Trump rally. And everyone was like, damn, bro, that's cold. I mean, that is cold. That is absolutely cold. But you can't force someone to feel some type of way either. So it is what it is. It is what it is, man. So we are continuing where I left off with this video. Leave me alone, camera. Oh shit. Wow. The camera took me seriously. Holy shit, brother. I was only kidding. I was only kidding. Hold on. I may have to go buy a camera very soon. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's not even necessarily I'm just lazy. It's not even the money. It's just the laziness. I'd have to actually go out, go to a store, buy a new camera, unplug it, and plug it back in. I think it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna fuck around with it after the stream. Dev's been pretty bad when it comes to his political takes lately, and that's fair. There's a lot of YouTubers I watch that their political takes are ass, but they make good content because it's based on other things. And you don't have to like his political takes, and I'm not asking you to. I don't know his political takes, and preferably I would like to not know most people's political takes at this point. So that's fair. I can understand that, but like here's the thing I've learned. So I don't know if the dude had. Apparently, I was told that he has TDS. TDS goes both ways. I'm just saying. There's Trump supporters that completely reasonable individuals. There's Trump dislikers or haters that are also reasonable individuals. But then on both sides, you have TDS motherfuckers. TDS in support of Trump and TDS in opposition of Trump. That is the thing. All right, I've dealt with this even in my own personal life of Trump supporters that are fucking belligerent as fuck. So there's that too. Hey, Miss Flu, hope you're having a wonderful new year. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up. So yeah, that's completely fine. You don't have to like him. I'm not asking you to like him. Even if we come across something in this video that you happen to disagree with, we can critique it fairly. We can critique it. We don't have to agree with everything here. But to be like, oh, you're watching this YouTuber. Oh, you're a grifter. You're a bad person. Like, the fuck is this bullshit? Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I don't fucking want you here. The fuck? I, as a creator, do not go out of my way to tell other creators what to do with their content. I do not do that. Because I don't want people to tell me what to do with my content. And the same goes for people like this. Don't tell me what to do with my content. And if you're going to cry about me reacting to somebody that you happen to not like, that's just too bad. Sorry, next live stream may be free. Well, not the next one, because I don't think we're getting through this whole thing one go, but that's just what it is. Hey, Brandon, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a wonderful new year. I don't like his political takes, but I don't go on other people's channels whining about it. These people have Dev deranged syndrome, and I appreciate that, bro. And it's fair, completely fair to say, man. It's completely fair to say. But yes, we are reacting to shortfatotaku's most recent video. The Gooner, fully explaining Goonergate in autistic detail re-upload. And so we gotten this far into the video. We gotten a little over 45 minutes into the video. Rocky, hope you having an awesome new year, bro. Aw, Princess is laying on the phone listening. Aw, love Princess. Shout out to Princess. Hope she's having a wonderful new year. So yeah, we're continuing where we left off here. And it's mostly into the Melanie and Mac portion of the thing. So let's see what's up.
Censorship. We're all being lied to about the real developers of the Tomb Raider and Soul Reaver remasters. It's Saber Interactive, not Crystal Dynamics. But for some reason, they don't want you to know this.
This is specifically about the Tomb Raider original trilogy
Felony
remaster controversy.
No.
In response to her tweet, somebody mentioned that the jacket for Tomb Raider was actually censored. The brown jacket that Pierre DuPont wears in the original PlayStation game featured a fully nude woman with her tits proudly on display, which as a kid you could only really barely make out, considering—
Oh no, casualties, I think my camera is actually going. Like it's on its last legs, I think, so that's what it is.
The low quality of the texture and the blurriness of your average CRT. In the remaster, the woman was put in a red bikini instead.
Happy New Year. Happy almost New Year.
The 90s were a different time.
Yeah, we
could
Gooning here.
Just get away with shit like that if it were hidden enough or blurry enough. And Tomb Raider is not the only game to slip this sort of thing in. Here's Melanie's reply.
Don't care who gets mad. The jacket needed censoring. A fully nude woman on the back of a jacket in a modern game is too gratuitous. It was passable on the PlayStation because you could barely see what it was.
Okay, she's basically offering the same explanation that I did, but I didn't say that it needed to be censored. I just said that I understood why it was. A faithful re-release of a game should not censor content for modern sensibilities. At best, it should simply say, hey, you know what? It was acceptable to do this back in the day, it's not now, but for artistic integrity reasons, we're presenting it as it was. Like how old movies or shows have those splash cards on Netflix or Disney+.
Yeah, casualties. It's a strange situation in which people are very picky and choosy with censorship sometimes. And yeah, it seems as though that her lines of censorship are only are depending on what she deems acceptable and unacceptable at the time. Very weird behavior. So yeah. Oh man. I man said lather the like button up with goon oil. Jesus, we're here. We are ending 2024 with complete total degeneracy. Love it. Gotta love it. In other words, she has a god complex. Ironic, right, Mr. Gamer? As someone who's very pro-religious and says Jesus is on her side. She happens to be quite the god complex haver. But yeah, it's very strange. Like button can fill many voids. Oh man.
And you know what, personally, I even find that cringe. But at least that makes sense and is not really objectionable. You still get the content as it was. The problem here is that Melanie Mac is trying to have it both ways.
Oh no, bro.
She talks about being anti-censorship, which I think is good. That's a good moral principle. But it's not a Christian moral principle. Christian morality does actually include censoring what they view to be evil, which includes sexual degeneracy. In order to truly follow Christian morals, you can't not censor this stuff, which is why when push comes to shove, Melanie's publicly stated anti-censorship position falls away, and she reverts to saying,
yeah, it's like you can't say you're anti-censorship and then, like, you gotta choose one or the other. Like me, I'm anti-censorship even for things that I don't like. And that's like a common thing. Ziggy, are you good, bro? Gotta go bathroom, buddy? Wanna say hi? Ziggy wants to say hi. Say hi, Ziggy. Say happy almost New Year, Ziggy. He wants to say... Yeah, no worries, I'm in. Definitely hang out with your bro. She's peak god. Bother her. Melody and whoever else she was backing up are generally one of the few times where I've found any hard division in the anti-woke side. Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of things in the anti-woke community I generally agree with. Sometimes I feel like they go a little too far with some of the things. Like we're gonna have to talk about, all right, the GTA female character, because all I've been hearing every time she's brought up, and I don't know if do you guys know if the new picture of her is AI generated or real of Lucia from GTA 6? Because when they first showed her off, all I heard was she's ugly. She's transgender. And my reply was, have you not seen Hispanic women ever in your fucking life? Like, now she's in a bikini. Apparently she's fat. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Is AI generated? Bro, the fact that people said that this bitch is fat in a bikini looking the way she do is insane. Like, are we good, bro? I can understand that there might be a problem with the game in terms of some of the shit that they might enforce or change about Grand Theft Auto. I get that. But she's not an issue. Oh my god. Devastator of looking at the picture. This Marilyn Monroe moment is crazy, bro. Bro, Mikey, there are people that are saying that the bitch is ugly. And it's like, all right, bro, as much concern as I do have with GTA, that's not realistic. You know? Hold on one second. I'm going to let Zigman out. All right, you can show fair concern with the game, but to lie out your ass because you're just writing the game off entirely. Like, no, son, we gotta be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's completely fair to not have interest in it in a game. Hey, imagine we just started. So no worries. Man, people were beating their meat to Lucia like it was the second coming of Christ. Yo. Also, GTA 6, it's gonna be GTA Online single player edition. Because a vast majority of devs are people who worked only on GTA Online, and that's definitely a fair take. NSMP.
Okay, yeah, I do actually want this stuff censored, even though I'm going to keep saying I'm anti-censorship. Hell, you know what? I know that I've also come around to the upsides of some limited forms of censorship when necessary, but at least I'm not going to keep blowing smoke up your ass about standing on principle on some fundamental anti-censorship position. I haven't called myself a free speech extremist or anything like that for years now, because through trial and error, I began to understand some of the serious problems with that position. But at least I don't keep going around calling myself something that I'm not. It is the duplicity that's the problem here. Melanie Mack is saying that she's anti-censorship despite holding some pro-censorship positions that only truly reveal themselves when pressed. And she's stretching the word porn to cover things that are not actually porn, in service of that censorship. Now, if there's one video game series that Melanie Mack is a hardcore fan of, it's Tomb Raider, which, you know what, is a pretty good choice. I already brought up Lara Croft a bit earlier in the video, with regards to her status as a gaming sex symbol. And this topic is something that Melanie has a blind spot for.
Oh my god,
one
Jordan.
of her several posts, where she claims that gamer coomers aren't real gamers. Gamers are just like...
So, the AI picture... So, the picture that I'm talking about with her in the two-piece was AI generated. Because I wasn't even sure. I was about to actually do some research tonight. Womb Raider? Aw, man. Are y'all good? Wait, if she's... I mean, Lara Croft is the Tomb Raider, and you're saying she's the Womb Raider. Are you saying that she's low-key a tranny, or she's low-key lesbian? Or low-key both? Oh, wait, well, it says Millie is zealot. Don't like her. Sorry. I don't want to engage with zealots. They're unable to be reasonable anymore. Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, her worldview is very extreme and really unreliable as well. Yo, my man Dax pulling up. What's good with you, homie? Appreciate you being here. Quiet Christ says either the womb is getting raided. Oh my god. All right, dog. She can't go. Oh man,
like the Rainbow Alphabet League because they're both DJs. You know the drill. Somebody posted at her, "This is literally your favorite video game. Official collaboration with Playboy in 1999 with a naked render of Lara Croft." Melanie replied to this by saying,
"You're a liar. Tomb Raider never collaborated with Playboy. They always turned them down, and the more sexual marketing images went against the developers' principles. They were vocally upset about it. You'll find none of this in the classic games. You'd know that if you actually
What's the truth, though?
Games.
What is the truth?
I mean, there was that naked woman on the back of the jacket that you admitted needed censoring. So, you'll find none of this in the classic games isn't a true statement, unless you meant none of this to refer to Lara nudity and not just nudity in general. However, several people pointed out that the August 1999 issue of Playboy did, in fact, feature a nude Lara Croft cosplayer, with the Tomb Raider logo plastered across the front. And it's not hard to find other naked Lara Croft renders on the internet that look pretty official, with
Yes, boss.
Lara Croft was in Playboy. It's over, bro.
Yes, boss. Ooh.
It's over, bro.
Yes, boss. Yeah. You're exposed, bitch.
It's over. How can you justify that?
You got no games. You're exposed, bitch.
How can you justify that?
You're exposed. You're exposed, bitch.
Oh my god, Jordan said I need those images for a friend. Dude, like, I can understand these are like fan made or whatever. But she was in Playboy. How can you stand this degeneracy and pretend it never existed? Come on, bro.
People claiming that they're from the Playboy in question. At first glance, that appears to be that. Melanie's just wrong. Except, hold on, the Playboy issue specifically credits a real woman, Nell McAndrew, and these images apparently from the issue in question are renders, not photos. What gives? Well, I did actually spend a good block of time digging up the answer to this one. It was actually kind of obscure. I almost pulled the trigger and bought a copy of the Playboy in question on eBay, just to confirm things for myself, and for no other reason, you weirdos. But it turns out I didn't have to. The woman in the Playboy, Nell McAndrew, was actually hired by Eidos to play the role of Lara Croft in various TV commercials, non-lewd photo shoots, and real-life appearances. She didn't pose nude during any of this stuff. These were primarily action shots, where the most that you saw of her was like her upper thigh. McAndrew held this job for around a year, until she decided to do the Playboy shoot, and Playboy marketed her photo set as being of the gamer-famous Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. Eidos didn't approve of Playboy using their IP in reference to McAndrew's shoot for them, even if the only reason anybody knew who she was because of her role as Lara Croft. And they threatened Playboy with a lawsuit over the whole affair. This is why, if you dig into Playboy's official online archives, all references to Tomb Raider have been airbrushed off of the scans of the August 1999 issue. In that issue, McAndrew did pose naked, and there was some official Lara Croft artwork from the game alongside her, used by Playboy without permission. But as far as I can tell, those nude renders, they weren't actually from the Playboy. So when Melanie Max said Tomb Raider never collaborated with Playboy, and the developers were vocally upset, she's correct, that's true.
Interesting.
Congratulations!
However, the part where she claimed the more sexual marketing images went against the developer's principles, that is still false. I don't think she's lying here, I think she's just wrong.
That'll be Thursday, Lewis. No worries.
Those nude renders of Lara Croft are official renders. They just weren't published in Playboy. Now you might be asking, okay, where did they come from? And the answer to that is a different book. This is Lara Croft, The Art of Virtual Seduction. This book was published by Prima, you know, the guys who make game guides, and it's officially sanctioned by Eidos. It contains tons of behind-the-scenes content, like interviews with people who worked on the game, photos from within the studio, concept art, official renders, and yes, a lot of the focus of the book is on the sexuality of Lara Croft. In fact,
is it fair to say Eidos didn't approve of Playboy because they wanted to make their own Playboy of Lara Croft? Yo, Michael, what's good, my guy? Hope you have a wonderful New Year, brother. Is that fair to say at this point? Y'all know what to do now? Oh my god. So the problem with Playboy that it wasn't okayed. Technically, Laura was in the Playboy. That's why I was like, oh shit, she's there. But yeah, it wasn't approved. But I think it's kind of fair to say that they wanted to make their own version of Playboy with Lara.
In fact, those more sexual renders were made specifically by Eidos for this book. It's important to point out that the content of the book is evidence that the people who worked on the Tomb Raider games do not share Melanie Mac's outlook and morality when it comes to sexuality in gaming. For example, in the book, you can find complaints that Sony and Nintendo are less liberal with sexual content than what can be published on PC.
Ramling said Eidos wasn't okay with it because they didn't get paid. Makes sense.
In the same category as other powerful, competent, but also overtly sexual female characters, most notably Barbed Wire. There's a second essay, this one specifically about looking up pictures of attractive women on the early internet, where Lara is called a sex symbol
salty
and placed in the
butterbags.
same league as several other 90s era bombshells. In fact, the author specifically goes out of their way to point out that the early popularity of Lara Croft online is not due to a general love of the Tomb Raider games, but
Salty says, fair to say no game character has had it harder than Lara Croft. Dude, my personal opinion, it's gonna get a whole lot worse. If the leaks for the script of the next Tomb Raider video game are even remotely true, we are in for some serious shit. We talked about that like over a year ago. I hope that it's not true. I hope that it's fake. I hope that I can tell y'all this shit is fake. Oh, quiet cries. So you know how... To make it quick. So, you know how Crystal Dynamics seems to just generally hate like retro Lara Croft and how they kind of just don't like the OG Lara Croft. Well, and they don't seem to like the fact that she's a Tomb Raider because it's like it has a negative connotation in the sense of a white woman hijacking other people's like culture or some shit by raiding tombs. Yeah, so apparently that may be in play. And she seems to be in a sense, at least judging from the general script leak, it seems as though she's leading like an excavation crew, whatever the hell have you, because it seems as though, you know, the whole she can do it herself thing might not go so well in terms of that being acceptable. And she's apparently a lesbian too, so you know why I am here. What's up, Rating Cage? Appreciate you pulling up. Oh man, Black Metal Gamer says Melanie Whack. What's good, homie? Hope you're having a good New Year's Eve. Off topic, but it feels like Naughty Dog execs got bothered with all of their character got Rule 34, and so they started making all of their characters too ugly for the mainstream to want to goon to. Maybe that could be a thing. Transformative Lara Croft. Oh man, Aaron Aloy would get along. Oh man, not Aloy, man.
Instead is due to gamers, who are probably overwhelmingly men, let's be real, looking up Lara Croft herself for her sexual attributes. I'm going to read off the final paragraph of this one because it really hammers the point home. Insatiable fans have used computer drawing programs to rid Lara of her last shreds of covering. Thus, the Nude Raider was born. Most fans wrinkle their noses at such pixel manipulating shenanigans. Some of the Nude Raider pages misuse the disrobed Lara to bring people to commercial hardcore pornography sites.
Nude
More
Raider's
and more
crazy.
creators of serious sites devoted to Lara are distancing themselves from such enterprises, decorating their web pages with a Nude Raider-free logo and showing
2024
Lara in
is
her true splendor, lightly clothed and.
So 2024, it's still going. It's still not bad. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I'm here with you guys, so it's good enough for me. But hope you're having a good New Year, Pico Trek. Appreciate you pulling up, homie.
And sexy. Real fans agree.
Nobody.
Lara's eroticism lies in what is still hidden.
Oh no.
What this shows us is that even back in 2000, there was a discussion over what constitutes real fans of Tomb Raider. And Eidos makes it clear here, it's not the actual pornography. Fair enough. But it's also not Melanie Mack's vision of Lara Croft either.
You're not lying,
There's no
Pico.
ambiguity here. Lara was designed explicitly as a sexual object, a lightly clothed sexual object, leaving some things to the imagination, rather than an explicitly naked pornographic one, but a sexual object nonetheless. The reader is invited to get to know her from all angles in the book's various photo spreads, which are the source of those renders that people commonly, but incorrectly, believe to be from Playboy. And at the beginning of the most lewd set of the bunch is an in-universe model biography for Lara Croft, that, you know what, could actually be pulled out of the pages of Playboy. So fair enough. Other parts of the book point towards an almost feminist view of Lara Croft, that her explicitly sexual nature is based in the character's self-confidence and power. This is the same argument that you hear from porn stars who claim to be feminists, who say that they're consenting to what they do, and their ability to choose it is empowering, even if the actual thing.
So just, really at the end of the day, like, Lara Croft is like and you say like a representative of more second wave feminism, I guess.
Things they do on camera are degrading.
Happy
and Melanie
Gooner
understands
ears.
that from a Christian point of view, this logic is bullshit. It doesn't matter if the woman consents, she's still doing something sinful.
And then there's girls that would look you straight in the eye and be like, I don't feel demeaned by this. I feel empowered. And it's like, well, you can't tell them they're wrong. I guess you'd have to just
Right.
wait
And maybe-
for something to happen.
Maybe they do feel that way, but that doesn't mean that it's right. You know, when somebody like a serial killer is murdering people, they feel great, they feel empowered. Doesn't make it okay, and that's why we can't.
Is she good? Is she good? Yo, that's crazy. Comparing like a porn star who's not engaging in the act of limiting someone else's rights and comparing them to a murderer. That's crazy. Dago, I'm not sure. That's like the entire point is like, hey, they're doing this, and mind you, I'm very prudish in nature, but they engage in whatever have you, sexual acts of whatever kind, or modeling or any, because it's freedom of expression, while also not limiting other people's life or expression or that's insane.
Just
Oh.
trust our feelings on
Yeah.
things.
It doesn't
that's
matter whether you
fucking
believe
insane.
in that logic or you think it's cope. For this conversation,
No,
what it means
it's
is that
mentally
Tomb Raider,
retarded.
in both intention and execution, is not a property that Melanie Mack can consider to be moral by Christian standards. The only difference between Lara Croft and that butt-wiggling video from the first Descendant is the latter's increased graphical capabilities, making its lewdness more realistic and more appealing by today's standards. The underlying foundation is the same. Melanie is wrong about her idol. If she's gonna stretch the word porn to include lewdness in video games, then she should also probably set that cool statue in the background on fire too. By the way, if you're watching Melanie, don't actually do that. This thing looks to be one of those
Ew.
life-size statues created by referencing Angelina Jolie's measurements during the filming of the first Tomb Raider movie. And there's not that many of them left. It's actually pretty cool.
You guys ain't cool. You're nerds.
Anyway, this brings us to the end of the Melanie Mack segment of this video.
She's Looney
I know
Tunes
that I
too,
mentioned at the
Rocky.
start that
Wow.
it was Melanie Mack versus V, but to be honest,
Yeah, personally, I'm not familiar with. Was her name Chrissy Meyer? Like I know her, like I know of her, I should say, but I don't listen long enough to actually know where her stances are. So, the PlayStation 6 is now wokeness. Wait, what? How does that work? Dev says weird stuff sometimes, but I feel like he's on point here. So far, the video has been pretty solid. I don't, and this is coming from someone like for me. I don't really know anything about Dev. Like I never watched any of these videos. I simply just watched a little bit of this. I'm like, oh, this would be dope to react to. So like for me, I just have a straightforward fucking like just opinion that's not based on any preconceived notion. Like I was just saying, Dax, how someone was going at me in the comments of my last fucking live stream reacting to this video. Calling me a grifter for promoting him in any way. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? It's just wild. Like, it's very weird that, because I, like, basically I was just like, don't know anything about the dude. Seems okay from the video I'm watching so far. Apparently, some people are telling me no, and it's just like, okay, you can have that opinion, but put her jacket on, those shoulders can be considered lewd by conservative standards. Oh man. Melanie's a closet gooner. She definitely has to hide it.
V made all the same arguments that I would make. We pretty much just agree on this topic. However, V also began to feel like he was being pushed to go after Melanie. Like there were some bad actors.
I
in the
don't know,
background
Jax.
who
I don't
wanted
know
to
what
see
the
this video on
reality,
the actual topic
what
itself, who
mindset
wanted Melanie
people like this
personally
have.
destroyed.
I feel that some individuals were trying to manipulate me. I was getting DMs, I was getting messages from people to start shit talking on Melanie Mack, to dig up her past, to talk about things that are in the public and some aren't. I was also getting certain lewd images of her that I've noticed.
Well, Ghost, keeping people at arm's length is just a natural reaction I have to life. I got moaned at for calling you a lady on Twitter. Really, Pazza? For real? Holy shit! I want to laugh at that. Holy fuck! Hold on. Can we laugh at this? Holy shit! Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to find it.
Is that they're AI made, and people were asking me to make them public. I don't want to.
Everyone has a
this is
fucking
not
opinion,
about
you
that.
know what I
This
mean?
is not even about Melody Mack. This is just a simple cultural shift so that people know where they stand. If you're a Christian that genuinely wants to censor video games, then know that many of the people that you've allied with in your fight against the woke aren't going to be your friends. Like, they do not believe the same way you do, and you probably know that, which is why you're trying to be subversive about it.
Yeah, I have roughly the same experience as V here, with people sliding into my DMs too. I've seen those photoshopped or AI-generated fake nudes of Melanie too. Some of them are pretty obviously fake, some of them less so. But either way, it's pretty disgusting. Morally disgusting,
Yeah, why would people do shit like that? It's so weird. It's like, I don't know, man. Like for me, it's like if you want to do that with video game characters, um, then have at it. You know what I mean? But then it gets weird when it's like, for example, like video game characters like are based on real people. Like how do you say, like the game Beyond Two Souls, when they were modding what's her face to be completely nude or whatever. Like, and the game is based on a coming of age story for the character. This is one we're dealing with. Yo, my man Perky Biscuits pulling up. Happy New Year's Eve, dog. We're reacting to a discussion on Goonergate, man. Apparently people have a problem with me reacting to this dude, but whatever, man. Weird ass shit, but we're just laughing at anti-woke fucking pro-censorship retards, so yeah. People are weird. Us Gooners would know, though. I think I retweeted the post, unless you made another post, Paza. But yeah. Very weird behavior by some people.
Melanie attractive. Okay, what I mean is it's a shitty thing to do. To create
Gooner.
fake news of a real person and then spread
Gooner.
them around in order to discredit them, when it's got nothing to do with the actual fucking argument. Back during the original Gamergate, we all made it very clear. It
So
might
far,
have been
so
funny
good
that
video.
Zoe Quinn fucked 5 guys, but nobody actually cared she fucked 5 guys. It was about the ethical conversation. I am 99% sure that the Melanie nudes and wild stories and secrets are all just entirely made up, but more importantly, they don't matter when it comes to the argument. And the people who are doing it are, frankly, helping ruin the legitimate critique of Melanie's ideas here. Thankfully, she doesn't seem too plussed about it.
Has anybody in your family asked you about your fake lewds or your fake nudes that have been
Thankfully,
circulating?
no. I'm so glad, because that would just be such a bummer if they.
Like, that shit is fucking whack, bro. It's fucking... As much as we can critique some of the shit Melanie Mac says, because she says some insane shit, to go out of your way to do stuff like that, you are such a piece of shit. Not for nothing. Like, you're a fucking loser. Like, that kind of shit is absolutely fucking disgusting. The eternal embarrassment Ellen Page feels over being in that piece of shit game gives me joy. Too bad about Willem Dafoe, though. He deserves better. You know what? I actually don't mind Beyond Two Souls. Shoot me! Go for it! I don't care. I don't mind Beyond Two Souls. I don't mind the game at all. Is it the best from David Cage? Absolutely not. But her butter arrow was hilarious. Oh man. Unsubbed. Oh man. We can't be friends anymore. Oh shit. It's for me it's Heavy Rain. Then it's what the fuck? Detroit Become Human, number 2. What else did David Cage do? I don't mind interactive movie games as long as they're not how do you say? As long as they're not promoted like they're action video games. I don't think I've played Fahrenheit. No, I have. Or Indigo Prop. Yeah, I haven't played Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy yet. I actually do want to play that game. What else has he done? Let me see. And so we got... Alright, so Heavy Rain is 1. Detroit Become Human is 2. Beyond Two Souls is 3. It's definitely the worst of the 3, but I think Beyond Two Souls is actually a decent coming of age interactive movie. Heavy Rain is fire. Like, it may be, some of it may be corny these days, some of it may be corny these days, but Heavy Rain is still an awesome interactive movie. I kind of dislike Beyond Two Souls via the David Cage Association. The tangentially because Omnicron happened to be the game that caused Super Best Friends to split up. I don't understand. NSNP, I respect you, but honestly, I don't know what the fuck you're even talking about. Shout out to you though. I hear Indigo Prophecy is fire. But it's good to see you, Hypno. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I don't mind Beyond Two Souls. If that's the worst that David Cage has done, I don't think that's bad at all. It's not great, but I think it's decent.
Thought something like that was real, but fortunately,
Oh my god,
my
devastating.
family, parents and brothers, they don't live on the internet. I did tell my mom about it though later, because like when it was happening, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so stupid. And
yeah, fuck people who do shit like that,
oh,
man.
by the
They're
way,
fucking
Mom,
assholes.
I just had to handle something because people were posting fake lewds of me. Mom's like, oh, they would do that? They poor
Like,
mom.
Mom,
I think Melanie Mac's appeal to an anti-censorship position
The Home Alone video game sucks. You know, I vaguely heard a little bit about that game. Vaguely, like maybe someone mentioned it at one time how it was bad, but I can't remember exactly. Heavy Rain is the best out of those games. 1 Heavy Rain, 2 Detroit, 3 Indigo, 4 Beyond. Okay, Rep. I appreciate your rankings list. Dev just ended streaming just a few minutes ago. Okay, shout out to Dev.
was not her actual morality, because when push comes to shove, when the
But,
choice is
Verma,
to allow
hope you're having a
degeneracy to
good
continue
Happy New Year.
uncensored, or to call for degeneracy to be censored in line with her religious values, she does choose censorship. It's important to point out that your average gamer is not anti-progressive because of some inherent hatred of the left and loyalty to the right. Your average gamer is anti-progressive because it's the progs who have been shitting up their hobby. If progressives existed in gaming spaces and didn't shit them up, I don't think most gamers would care all that much. But like Dread Roberts, Melanie Mac unfortunately doesn't seem to share that live and let live morality. She used to at one point, but those days seem to be long gone.
Like, here's the thing. So, realistically, in the political landscape, at least in America, I can't speak for anywhere else. So, the left had went so far left that a lot of live and let live individuals do gravitate towards the right. And so now a lot of these religious zealots that are part of the right side, they definitely have to compete with a lot of libertarian, generally libertarian-minded individuals, at least in terms of entertainment. So, like, you're gonna have to fight those people off because they've gravitated to your circle because the left became super left pro censorship. Like, the landscape of the circle that she's in has drastically changed over the past 15 years. Politics is a circle. It is. Yeah, at some point it does meet. Is it New Year's there? So it is currently 7:33 p.m. So we got a few hours to go. Cheers, UK gamer. Toast to the dumb shit dying on the vine. Oh man, Minyo, hope you're doing well. It's New Year for you since you're in UK, so happy New Year to you. Oh yeah, sadly I'm working tonight.
The next
We're
Gooner
going till
argument I
10.
want to look at
That's
is
the goal.
between Madam Savvy and JF Trent. And it's here we can finally
Oh man, we're finally diving into John F. Trent. Oh shit.
start getting at the core of the issue. The fundamental disconnect between the gamers and the Christians. When Smash JT was pointing out the hypocrisy of some of Dread Roberts' positions, Savvy chimed in with,
He's going out of his way to ignore the criticism of his language choice, and it's really obnoxious. He can dislike something, but using morality language and trying to speak for more than himself based on arbitrary moral appointment to try to shield himself from disagreement is where people are upset.
Yeah, it's like at that point you become the thing that you claim to hate. Yo, Rome, my man Rome, happy birthday to you, dog. Shout out to you, homie. Hope you had a really good birthday. I like his cap. Now remind me of Des Vault memes. Oh no.
Otherwise, perhaps I'll use his language against him and call him indecent for liking games depicting murder.
In response, Trent simply dropped a one-line post to her,
Relativism is fake and gay.
and attached a page on moral relativism, which put forward some rudimentary arguments on the topic. The claim here is that if we accept that morality is relative and not universal, then there is no mechanism by which we can judge others, since others can simply say whatever they do is moral from their point of view. The example given here is of a rapist who thinks it's moral
Hey,
to
Fox
rape others.
Hills.
If
Hope you're doing well too, fam. Have a happy New Year, fam. Appreciate you. stopping in. I found a gooning session on search mode. Yo, Angel. Appreciate you pulling up, homie. But in the end, extreme political actions only cause a feedback loop. Where when you keep pushing one side, the more they're going to be radicalized. Yeah, no, that's facts.
If we accept that everyone is a sovereign moral agent, abiding by their own morality, we cannot judge him for his actions being immoral, because within his moral code, they are. And I get it, there is some teeth to this argument. After all, weirdo, multi-culty, pacifist progressive types deploy this all the time when talking about foreigners who commit crime, so fair enough.
I have been personally affected by sexual harassment and assault.
Two instances, one I absolutely don't want to talk about, but the other one actually, like, I ended up pressing charges, and he got thrown out of court because
do you think it maybe speaks a little bit to the fact that we have a rape culture when we put 6 people in a room together to talk about Me Too, and the 4, when they're like, hey, who of you have experienced sexual assault, and the 4 women sit down and they've all been raped and they all can barely choke out a coherent sentence?
Isn't this the dude that likes horse dick? He likes horse dick, so maybe normal people don't like horse dick, so oh my god. True Flight said, who does it? Yeah, I feel like this dude has had some sort of traumatic experience in his life. Maybe he should come clean too.
Do we think this perhaps maybe slightly speaks to the fact that there's a problem? Like, Me Too has gone too far. False allegations are ruining people's lives. Okay, who among you have experienced sexual assault? And like every woman in the room starts crying? Like, almost every female friend I have has been the.
Are you good, Philip? Are you good, bro?
Recipient of sexual assault or violence or rape or whatever at some point in their lives.
He's a trust fund kitty. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense to me.
And because he was like, I'm, you know, part of like a certain religion.
Wait, are we being real?
And the police were basically just like, we can't because of cultural differences, which I don't feel like is such a good.
What? Bullshit! Are you fucking kidding me? Did she turn her fucking rape confession onto how the rape fugees fucking Ahmed Muhammad raped her and the police were like, oh, we can't persecute brown people? Bullshit! Bullshit! Is there anything on this? What's this bitch's name? I take it all back, fellas. Don't believe all women, because I don't believe anything about this bitch's story.
Oh, that's hilarious how that goes. Yeah, the people that believe all women, when women don't agree with them, then they change. What a fucking surprise. Oh my god. It's almost like the people that you fucking argue with were right. Just check the section of vid. Hilarious. That's just hilarious. There was a dude whose ex claimed he slashed her throat, ruined his life, was only saved because of a time-stamped photo from mom. Nothing happened to the girl. Wow. That's crazy. So wait. So did the person whose throat get slashed, did they die? Or did they not get their throat slashed at all? Because that would be crazy. This dude, he is sick in the head. Yeah, this dude's retarded. Just like a cut. She did it to herself. Oh my god. Not for nothing. Women are evil. Women are so evil. Oh my god. Like, it's so disgusting how genuinely vindictive and evil women could be. Because women think outside of the box with being vindictive. Like, it's hard sometimes to think in a woman's mind because they are very creative with their evil, vindictive ass behaviors. Holy shit.
Joking out like, see, the problem was my rapist, Muhammad, well, he wasn't white and...
Where were we? Oh yeah, moral relativism. Trent is still wrong here. He's appealing to the negative outcomes of moral relativism being correct. But that has little bearing on whether...
Do I have competing cults now? Because we've had the cult of Cage for a little minute now. Now it's the cult of Minxie. What is going on here? There's too many cults. We think inside the box.
Or not moral relativism is actually correct. After all, a true thing is still true,
Absolutely,
even if it has
Perky.
a bad outcome. The actual answer to the moral relativity question is a lot more complicated, and we'll dig into it a little later in the video. Now, to be clear, I like Savvy, I like her content, but the reply she gave here doesn't actually really work. Let me show you how.
Your example is based on a real-world crime, or if you want to remove social constraints and archaic tribalistic behavior that no longer needs to be practiced to continue the species. The reason why this example is silly is because it continues to conflate reality and fiction. If I write a story about rape, there is no victim. It's fiction.
Dude, I'm starting, like, honestly, when it comes to Twitter, the whole thing around, like, letting people write entire fucking articles as replies is fucked. It's so fucked because, like, dude, I don't have fucking, you know, what is it, the Twitter blue shit? Because after losing an entire Twitter account permanently, why the fuck would I pay for Twitter blue again? Especially when having lost my account, you know, it was over some of the dumbest shit. What is your cult? It is the Cult of Cage. It's literally the name of my Discord server. So, like, obviously I'm not going to pay for Twitter blue, and then people suddenly think they win arguments because they're able to type entire fucking, like, thesis essays, right? To reply to you. And it's like, I just tell people to fuck off or just say some slick remark and keep it moving, because it's like, I can't, like, dude, I'm not going to make fucking 50 tweets just to fucking discuss with you. Matter of fact, if people write shit like this, and no disrespect to Savvy, I happen to like a lot of things that she says. When people write shit like this, I only read like the first 2 paragraphs and then I'm out. Like, I'm done. That's all you get from me on Twitter. Like, I don't have time to read your fucking thesis essays. But that's just me personally. Shout out to y'all out there that write your thesis essays on Twitter. It's just not for me. Internet blood sports, pretty much, right?
However, in the real world, rape is bad and there is no moral relativism to be had there.
What Savvy's doing here is something that I used to do a lot, especially back during the first Gamergate, and it took me a long time to really wrap my head around why it doesn't work. Savvy is under the assumption that Trent is operating in good faith, that they both share that very normal, kinda liberal, kinda libertarian moral code of live and let live. This is why she says the example is silly, because it continues to conflate reality and fiction. Her argument is that rape is obviously bad in real life. No one disagrees. But stories about rape are just stories. No one's actually getting harmed. And so with regards to them, you should have no moral judgment. However, Trent isn't operating in good faith. He's actually one of those snakes, like Milo and Cernovich the last time around, who slithered into the gaming space under the cover of anti-progressive solidarity. He doesn't actually believe in that live and let live morality. For him, the idea of leaving people alone to create the stories they want to create isn't actually a moral principle. And insofar as he might have said so before, I think he just lied.
You sit on a throne of lies.
His actual moral principle is that people should create stories with Christian ethics embedded within them, just like how progressives think that people should create stories with woke ethics embedded within them. When Savvy appeals...
Oh yeah, he definitely believes that shit. 100%. I mean, he shows it in all of his writings whenever he possibly can. He definitely wants to put his religious, you know, code of ethics, whatever the fuck, into entertainment. Like, he proves it as much as he possibly can. Apparently Harmon thinks COD players are MS in training. Average Sonic fan is Christian. Oh my god. That's crazy. What the hell? Yes, he literally calls himself the Rosary Warrior. Yeah, he's that retarded. Yo, Scargut, my man, Happy New Year. The sooner this sorry excuse for a decade pisses off, the better, damn. Well, I hope that we can make a turn for the better, Scargut. That's the goal, right? So this decade may have started off pretty shit, but maybe we can curve it for, you know, to go on an upward trend. We'll see. I'm hopeful. Damn you, John F. Trent. He's a snake or a worm? I mean, he's a snake because he has a lot of influence. When he writes articles in a way that naturally does get attention. Like, he definitely does. Like, he can get attention, and he knows how to grow a YouTube channel or a website. Like, he's actually pretty good at that, despite him being a religious zealot retard. So there's that. That's what it is.
Appeals to the live and let live moral principle. It rolls off of Trent like water off a duck's back, because it's not actually something he holds as a moral principle. To Trent and others like him, it is a tool to temporarily be wielded in order to get people like Savvy on side. Savvy further says,
Rape is bad because we as a species have accepted the social contract of order. We as a species adhere to certain appeals to morality in order to maintain order and coexistence. It has been determined to be beneficial to us as a species to view the removal of
Yo, my man Pickles, Happy New Year. Yo! My man Reezy with the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you. Did I turn off my YouTube alerts? Oh, man, I turned them shits off. God damn it. How did I do that? I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. My bad. I didn't, I accidentally turned off my YouTube alerts. But, my man Reezy says, is the celebratory goon in unison at the drop of the balls ball at the midnight still mandatory? I'm literally asking for a friend. Classic goon cult. Oh man, unfortunately, so the sad reality is I'm gonna be at work at midnight, so it is what it is. But either way, I'll definitely, I'll pull up to the Discord, to Twitter, to, all that to say Happy New Year to you guys. And, it's going to be a good time nonetheless. Reezy, thank you so much for the 5, bro. Totally didn't have to do that. But I do hope you have a wonderful New Year. The clock is counting. It absolutely is. I got till 10 p.m. with y'all. Then I have to get off and start getting ready for work. That's what I got. But Mr. Pickles, hope you're doing well, brother. I think she's writing this much because people keep trying to misinterpret what other people say. And that's facts, Dark X. Like, the thing is, there's multiple things that are true at once. You know what I mean? Like, she's trying to clearly articulate herself. And I get that. So maybe she isn't taken out of context, but I feel like that's like a lost cause either way. Because, bro, on Twitter, I'm tuned out after like fucking 3 sentences. Like, sad to say. And that's a part of me being like, a problem. Oh my God, Philip, relax. No quiet cries. Do not do this. So, like, yeah, I understand that she's trying to fight the good fight here and all that, and trying to articulate herself in a way that she can't be taken out of context. But people that hate you, it doesn't matter, bro. They will clip you some way, somehow to get what they want. Like, sad realities, you know what I mean? But I get it. It's just that I'm done by the 3rd sentence, naturally. Do you buy the Tomb Raider classic games or the first 3 Resident Evil on GOG? I haven't bought anything on GOG in a long time. I'm sorry. I respect GOG, but it's admittedly been a minute. It's admittedly been a minute. But 3 Resident Evils on GOG would probably be the way to go since you can't get them anywhere else. Like, the Tomb Raider games, you could still get them on Steam. So I'd say the 3 Resident Evil games because you can't get them on Steam. I've been oh my God, y'all are evil.
Another's choice to be
y'all
wrong,
clipping me and
punishable
shit.
even. However, by conflating the very rights and wrongs of reality with the unreal world of fiction, you just want to express control based on your own personal morality.
This is completely true. Trent does want that control. But Savvy's other reasoning falls into the trap that Trent laid for her. When she says that passive statement, it has been determined to be beneficial. Well, who determined it? If it's God, then you're in Trent's realm, arguing over what the objective morality actually is that must be applied to all people. If humans determined it, then Trent is correct. This is ultimately relativistic morality, and you haven't answered his objection. When Savvy says he's conflating the very right and wrongs of reality with the unreal world of fiction, she's falling back to the assumption that they share the live and let live moral code when it comes to what art should say, when in reality they just don't share that moral code. At the very end of the tweet, Savvy asks a question.
A woman's ass is not pornographic in nature and should not be problematic if someone wants to create fictional ass. Why is his view of fiction better than mine?
That final line, why is his view of fiction better than mine? That is Savvy appealing to the live and let live moral code. But a Christian's answer, Trent's ultimate answer, is simple. His view is better than yours because his is more in alignment with God than yours is.
Isn't that a sin?
Mark, just about everything is a sin.
Trent offers up this reply.
You lived through COVID and saw how fictional propaganda affected people's behavior. You also live in an era where people would create fictional commercials to get people to purchase products, choose how they spend their time, and even take...
What the fuck does this mean? You lived through COVID, you saw fictional propaganda affects people's behavior. The problem with this is what does Trent deem as propaganda? Like, are you talking, and what is fictional to him? Like, are you talking about the fictional, like, propaganda that pushed, I don't know, the jab? Because that's not fictional, at least in terms of, like the jab was real. It's just that what it did was questionable, to say the least. All right, what it did in terms of solving the COVID's issue was questionable, to say the least. You know what I mean? So, like, what the fuck does that mean?
take drugs or pick what foods they eat. You can't be serious with this nonsense.
What Trent is pointing out here is the media that people consume has an impact on their beliefs about the world. And this
Marvel
seems
says
obvious
SFO
to
has
me,
some
though
good
I
vids.
think
Maybe.
Trent might overstate its effects.
So far, so good with this one, Marvel. Yo, John Bon Zombie, what's good, homie? Hope you're having a good New Year's Eve. Also, medicine ads are required to mention side effects and other conditions. Yeah.
For example, companies advertise products because they know that advertising the product will make it more likely that you buy it. Now, it is pretty rare that advertising gets you to buy something that you just have zero interest in, but advertising helps get the word out about products that you would be interested in if only you knew about them. And it may also push you into a purchase if you were on the edge.
You are
Companies wouldn't waste
CGI
their money
and
on
fiction?
advertising
Oh,
if
man.
people consuming advertising had no impact on their spending habits. Like Trent points out, it's not just food or drugs or other products, it's also real-world events. I am very certain that he and I fall on the opposite side of the COVID argument, but he's correct in that your view of the world outside of your daily life is largely shaped by the news sources you consume. If you spend all day reading about how COVID is a death virus wiping out everyone, and you'd better triple mask up and get your 18th booster, that is what you'll probably feel that reality is. And if you consume sources that claim that the vaccine is poison and COVID is a hoax or whatever else, that is also probably what you'll feel like reality is. Think back to my video on Bayesian inference. Belief feels like reality to the true believer. It's this understanding of media consumption habits that leads to the progressive slogan, everything is political. And Trent is here saying, yes, everything is political. Therefore, everything should be turned in service of Christian politics, not progressive ones. He'd probably say everything is a question of morals rather than politics. But he's making the same point. The progressive and the Christian both view the liberals' live and let live morality, which desires a neutral space where competing moral systems need not fight, by having a private domain where they can live their truth, and a public domain where they can agree to come together and coexist under the same set of rules. They view that system as not actually possible. To them, neutral spaces aren't real. They're simply power vacuums that a new ideology will inevitably take over. And it should be theirs. That's what progressives mean when...
Yo, Chaos, man. Hope you're having a great New Year's Eve. Yo! Oh, man, Chris, what's good, everyone? What's good? What's good? Happy New Year's Eve. Absolutely. Happy New Year's Eve to you as well. But, God's moral law, which timeline? That is really question. Oh, no. We have multiple timelines now. Oh, God, it's over.
they say everything is political. And that is what Trent is saying here. He's observing Savvy's neutral space, and he views it as a place for him to plant his Christian flag, since his moral code demands that he do it. And if he doesn't do it, somebody else will anyway. Savvy's reply to this shows that she doesn't really get the point.
People need to take responsibility and agency.
Here's the problem. People like John F. Trent, like, he just wants to be involved in everything. And all of his, like, basically everything he's saying is just so that he can push his propaganda. And at the end of the day, you may believe in Christianity, Catholicism, just like him, and that's completely fine. But you can't force other people to believe it either. Like, this dude infects our community with his fuck shit because he does not have the same respect that you would give him as someone that tries to treat everyone, give everyone a fair fucking take, or like just be fair to people. Like, he does not think that it is moral on his side to give you the same respect in return. He believes that it is his duty. It's so weird, man. It's so weird how people try to justify purposely, all right? Purposely fucking with you. That's really what it boils down to. He tries to morally justify in his mentally deranged head being able to fuck with you.
Fiction is fiction, but please go on about policing it. So that guy wants to police ass because he thinks it's pornographic? Do I get to police murder? No more GTA. Do I get to police theft? Shut down all Assassin's Creed. Do I get to police male power fantasies? No more superheroes. Oh, it's only one side who gets to police fiction? Spare me.
I agree with her here. All of this policing is stupid. But notice when she says fiction is fiction, she's still leaning into that splitting of spaces, where there is a private domain where people can do what they like, which includes consuming content that others might find morally objectionable. But Trent doesn't view the existence of that private space as a moral good. He views that space as one which must be turned Christian.
Yeah, it's like he is like reverse like woke ideology. Like, he has the same code as people that push all that bullshit that we constantly criticize. He has the same way of thinking as them. Then he doesn't get why we call this motherfuckers like him the woke right. DI needs to go. Yeah. And also, like, just respect people's like space. Like, I feel like we've been taught this even as children. Like, respect people's personal space. You don't have the right to fucking be intrusive. Like, you don't. And there's a time and place for everything. Especially when people are saying, hey, we don't want to be involved in that. We don't want to hear it. You don't. Yeah, all sides want control. Exactly, JT Vega. And at some point, you have to accept that you're no better than the people that you criticize because you won't simply respect people's space. An action creates an equally and opposite reaction. Wookiees created a whole generation of zealots through their zealotry. Yeah, Nagel, it's true. Like, and this is like this has historical premise too. Like, parts of history you can point to that show this is a consistent thing. The Dugganing. I like that. That's a very cool name. You're the first person I heard to use woke right in the same way I do. Shout out to you, bro. They want us all to wear the chastity belt cage.
I'm respecting your privacy by knocking, but asserting my authority as your father by coming in anyway.
Trent reinforces this position by pointing out that Savvy is not neutral herself either. She's also following a moral code that requires
you suck.
I gifted from Boy Burgers to Phantom. He told me no /.
Femboy Burgers is crazy. Oh. How does that work? Is that a game? He told you no. Hold on. Femboy Burgers. Is this a Steam game? Oh my god, it is. How dare he reject your gift, Mikey? How dare he? Tell him to have some proper gift accepting etiquette. All right? Tell him to accept the gift, whether he likes it or not, and say thank you. All right? Tell him to stop being rude. Stop being rude. And if all else fails, just tell him to stop being a pussy. Tell him I sent you.
There's the setting
but
of
thank
some
you so
sort
much
of
for this
standard.
too, homie.
Why'd you police Halo? Could be you want to police gender ideology out of video games? Imagine that.
Savvy asks,
Explain to me how pointing out someone with 0 credentials is policing Halo. I didn't say Halo didn't need to be made.
Wait, so basically he's like, hey, why are you being consistent savvy and not wanting ideology being put into your games?
You suck. He told me he don't want porn games. Skeptical smiley.
That's too bad. That's too bad. Tell him to stop being rude. He thinks it's funny when I get gifted porn games and I try not to be rude and accept them, even though I'll never boot them, even if my friends make fun of me for it, even if my Steam family is mad about it when they have to look at it in their fucking Steam libraries. Yes, but nonetheless, I accept these terrible gifts because it's just like real life when you are given gifts from your family and friends and they happen to suck. It happens. Just accept it. Did you see my question? I got you, Philip. Let me see. Casgooned by a femboy stream went. Oh my god. Really? I scrolled up to look for that question. Philip, how dare you? How dare you? Cassie curiosity will get the better of you. You're definitely gonna try one out. No, Elliot, fuck you, bro. Which is your favorite? I can't have a favorite game, furry game or Fuda game or whatever the fuck you guys sent me without actually having played it. I got gooned by a femboy is better is crazy. Arepa, how dare you? You guys are evil. So basically, John F. Trent is criticizing Savvy for being consistent, which is hilarious because she doesn't want like far left forced ideology in her games, and she doesn't want religious ideology forced in her. What a surprise! Oh my god, she's consistent. Judge it by the cover. This is not. This is 2024, almost 2025. This isn't 2004, dog. We don't do this anymore. This is a lost art, sir. A complete lost art.
Did I?
And Trent replies with,
I assume you didn't want a gender studies major working on Halo because they would inject gender studies ideology in the game. Was that assumption wrong?
Savvy then says,
apparently, we shouldn't be making commentary now on who might be a good fit for an established IP and lore. A franchise that is currently struggling to reclaim its spot as top tier? I have been very clear from the very beginning on my stance. Everyone is free to make what they want, but if someone seeks to change what people want to create, then they are the problem. I always invite people who call something problematic to create their own thing. I wouldn't bar her from creating a story she wanted to make from the heart, regardless of what it was.
Chris, nobody missed a puritanical right. Nobody cared. Nobody cares anymore. People are just over it. And the puritanical right I think is realizing that sort of what is right these days is not what it used to be, because I was saying earlier, the left has gone so far left that a lot of like live and let live libertarian minded people have gravitated towards the right in terms of socially. And so they're in for a very rude awakening because the puritanical right is realizing like the right side isn't what it was, 20, 30 years ago. Chasing tism bombs across the net. Oh man.
It's official. You suck. Oh, if you didn't know, Daxina loves feet him out.
Apparently everyone loves feet now. This is the thing. Apparently everyone around me just likes feet. And I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Yes, what's good, homie? You've walked into furry Gooner games, people loving feet, us discussing super right-leaning fucking religious zealots trying to take over gaming. A lot of that bullshit. So enjoy your stay, all right? And happy New Year to you, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's already past midnight for you, but hope you're doing well, guys. You're more of a thigh guy. Well, at least someone here is. That's a good point. I'm considered right wing these days simply because I believe men shouldn't be competing in women's sports. Yeah, like we're just tossed over to the right side just because the left is off a fucking cliff, hanging by a thread on the cliff. Cast into feet as well. What the? No, I am not. All right, we do not do feet here. Okay, this is not. This is we do socks. Okay, I have a sock fetish. All right, socks, not feet.
The market
There's
will
a
dictate
difference.
success. You've truly lost the plot, though, if you're trying to equate me commenting on a company's hiring practice to policing what should be made in fiction.
This is again my position as well. Make the Dustborns and the Concords and whatever else you want to make. If it's good, it'll sell. If it's not, it won't. But here is Trent's reply.
Oh my god.
You just admit it, you're totally fine policing, but you just don't like the so-called policing that Dred and I advocate for.
Savvy asks,
Where did I police anything?
and Trent clarifies.
When you said, if someone seeks to change what exists, disrespect lore, and call it problematic but want to profit off IP, tell people what to create, then they are the problem. That is policing.
It is hilarious listening to the like sort of country twang to the voice.
Obviously, I typically agree with the sentiment, but I also recognize that I am policing the devs who want to do this.
Which is kind of funny because in the previous post he labeled his policing as so-called policing, implying that he didn't actually believe he was policing anyone.
Amazing.
You suck.
Oh no.
I eat also eat shoe at Mikey'll be a cat about it. Just cause you accept porn games doesn't mean I got a winking and laughing smiley.
You mean just because I have proper etiquette in accepting gifts, right? Just because, there's a difference. I'm not rude, and you're rude, Phantom. But shout out to you. You're just rude. What can I say? But appreciate the $5, dog. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year's Eve. I feel offended by that voice. Oh, man, Philip. Oh, man, Alyssa M. Sucks is here. Says Happy New Crabs. Oh, man. Come on, dog. The voice actor doing Trent's voice is SFO's Fred. Okay. If someone gifts you syphilis, you'll take it. If there's a video game called Syphilis, sadly, yes. We're talking strictly video games.
It's official. You suck. That's because he is a puss rude hoe.
Mikey's on to something. I do appreciate the back and forth super chat war, though. Oh, Levistro, what's good, homie? Says, still no cake, milk, or Kool-Aid? At least have Kool-Aid if you're going to have cult in your brand. Hope you're having a good New Year's Eve, my guy. You guys are too much, man. You guys are way too much.
Here he is, admitting that he does it, so fuck it. It's at this point that Trent stops replying, and he does this sort of thing a lot.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
You suck.
Uh-oh.
Love you, homie. You know I got you, Cassie. Come through in my server later. Been in there for my VR niece's birthday.
Oh, shit. Okay, sounds cool, homie. I'll be at work tonight, so I'll have some free time if you're still there after midnight. But that's what's up, man. Glad you're having a good day, by the way. What's really funny is I have never heard of this Trent guy before this Goonergate stuff blew up. Do you have an audience before? Oh yeah, there is a long history of John O. Trent. He's worked for Bounding Into Comics. He was actually one of the lead dudes at Bounding Into Comics. I think he was the guy at Bounding Into Comics. Then they wanted to change their image, so he left. Then he went to Phantom Pulse. Basically, a lot of these channels that react to articles, a lot of them use a lot of John F. Trent's work. And then now he's at... No, wait, so he went to... No, hold on. He was at Bounding. He left Bounding to go to that Park Place, and now he's at Phantom Pulse. Which, Phantom Pulse is full of a bunch of fucking retards, not for nothing, but... That's kind of just... He writes articles, he also has YouTube channels. He's good at getting attention. He can write in a way that gets people to want to react to his articles, and he sadly he does have influence in the space, if it be from a more how do you say, more of a taking a back seat sort of way. Yeah, he worked at that park place after he left bounding into comics. You wouldn't accept? What's really funny? Let me see. Who else? Happy New Year. Yep, Happy New Year. Don't drink and drive. Yeah. Stay home, guys. Don't drink and drive. It's not worth it. For real. If I can express anything to you guys, do not drink and drive. I gave up drinking because I started driving. So that's kind of just what it is. Because it's just the fact that I drive everywhere means I have no room to drink. And overall, it's just better that I don't drink.
Minute. And no, it's not like what I sometimes do, where I stop scrolling on Twitter mid-conversation and go do something else, because I actually have a life and other things to do. Trent smugly and specifically says good night after extracting a relatively minor concession from Savvy, because he's actually an intellectual coward. But it's actually pretty easy to argue against his position going forward from this point. Savvy starts off her next post by saying,
"That isn't policing, it's respecting what someone created."
But unfortunately for her, I have to point out, that is a form of policing, and that's okay. You two have now drilled down to your differing moral standards on this topic. For Trent, he believes it's appropriate to step in and stop an artist from creating something if it's morally degenerate by Christian standards. For Savvy, she believes it's appropriate to step in and stop an artist from creating something if that artist has inherited a property with an already established canon, like Halo, and is purposely violating that canon in order to turn the property into something that it's not. Both of you do believe in policing. You just have very different views on when policing is appropriate. If I were Savvy in this conversation, I would have just bit that bullet, because the conversation can actually continue from here in a way that Trent wouldn't like, if he actually stuck around long enough to get destroyed, which I doubt he would.
Coward.
The rest of Savvy's post here we'll cover a little bit later in the video, but I want to finish up with Trent's arguments first. Backing up through the thread a bit, another guy says to Trent, "Fiction is inherently harmless. You suspend your disbelief. You know it's not real." And that's true, but only to a point. Of course, fiction imparts cultural values. That is the moral of the story. But it doesn't have to. In fact, everything is political is probably more properly worded as everything has a political interpretation. But shutting your brain off and just enjoying a story is also valid.
Yeah, there's a difference between like, hey, this is blatantly fucking propaganda and this is influenced by politics, but it isn't purposely trying to influence you. So yeah, there's a clear difference. Being able to ride was good, homie. Levistra said, "That's ironic. I gave up driving because I started drinking." See? And if that's what you want to do, shout out to you, man. But at least you're not doing both at the same time. Sucks you have to work on New Year's Eve. Hope you have much success on YouTube next year, Cass. Hey, Pickles, man. I appreciate that, bro. Either way, man, we get through it. It is what it is. I work. At least the one positive is that at least I don't have to work 12 hours, all right, New Year's Day, like I did, unfortunately, for Christmas Day. So that's a W in my book. The small W's, man. But time and a half is nice, too. Mugsykin says, "Pay for a taxi or an Uber. It will save you a lot of money and stop you from spending the night in the jail." Absolutely. Or honestly, costing you your life or someone else's life. So yeah. But just be safe out there, guys. And Cass doesn't have to be here. Well, I told you guys I would be here, so that's why I have to be here. I said I would do something, so I do my absolute best to do it unless something happens to come up. Which happens, you know?
Valid. Here's Trent's reply.
The people making fiction don't believe this. In fact, they tell you the opposite. They know it affects people.
With an attached headline of The Mandalorian expressing its values to the next generation. Yes, this is true, there are morals in The Mandalorian, and in many other TV shows and movies and games and whatever else. And those morals are being consumed along with the product. But Savvy hops in again, saying,
"If you're low IQ enough and can't separate reality and fiction, I suppose so. But I don't look at humans so shallowly usually. Me writing a story about a woman being slapped does nothing to change reality itself. Women get slapped in real life, whether I write this story or not. To imply more people would slap women because of my story is to imply humans have a far deeper problem because it wasn't the fiction existing that prompted it. I didn't invent such a concept. The person has to be capable of it in the first place to arbitrarily want to slap a woman. But I'd say most people aren't like that. In fact, 99% of people can't be like that. Otherwise, given the box office popularity of films depicting violence, that would mean more people commit violence, which isn't the case."
And of course, Trent does his usual thing where he just says wrong and then drops a block quote somebody else wrote.
What the fuck? Yo, imagine being this lazy. And he's a writer, mind you. This dude is a fucking writer. Who hasn't wanted to slap someone? Absolutely, but she's implying that the work of fiction would be slapping would cause you to want to slap someone. And no, it's like, no, your reaction to how someone is would want you to react to someone in real life. So, yeah, he's a lazy fuck. He keeps kicking me out of his Discord now. How rude. Oh, man. All political art is propaganda, but not all art is political. You can make it political, be inspired by politics, but not all art is propaganda. Absolutely, 100%. I guess the way that you're wording it is slightly different, but generally the same interpretation from how I have it, like how I see it.
It's like the dude can't actually argue his points himself. The passage in question this time talks about declining birth rates coinciding with telenovela popularity in Brazil in the 70s and 80s. Savvy correctly points out that it was probably other social changes that caused the decline, which I think is probably true, but she didn't even need to go that far. Trent's replying to Savvy's example of fictional violence not causing real-world violence, with an example about reproduction instead, which is not the same thing. Humans cannot be pushed into doing everything through simple media exposure. Here's an obvious example. If I'm a straight white guy with normal sexual interests, and I'm bombarded with images of extremely hot black chicks 24/7, I might become somebody who's preferential to hot black chicks through repeated exposure, because that's already within the normal range of what I could be interested in. However, if you bombard me with violent movies 24/7, I'm not going to turn into a murderer, because murdering another person and sexual attraction to a specific type of woman are two very different things. Here's the problem with Savvy's position. She's insisting that the media people consume doesn't affect their outlook on the world, or at least if it does, those people are low IQ. Meanwhile, Trent is insisting that the media people consume does affect their outlook on the world, and therefore media should promote his morality, while the media that promotes his political opponent's morality should be censored. Trent's position is more distasteful, but it's also more accurate factually. We are affected by the media we consume, at least partially. The degree in which we're affected will likely change person to person and media to media. Savvy's probably correct when she says that IQ plays a role, but I think this is actually a very complicated thing to try and calculate out. However,
Darkix says, Savvy says the way she wants to police content isn't because she wants to police content. She's just saying, okay, you retcon lore, I ain't gonna buy it. But she won't make a law to enforce or control it. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, Trent is willing to go as far as possible in order to reinforce his worldview. And while also demanding that other people's worldviews do not be depicted openly. Which is like, at this point, you have to wonder, like, how much of an authoritarian pig are you? And what I have to wonder, like, what is the limit to the lengths you will go? If there was no rules of engagement or whatever have you. If he could have it his way. Have to wonder. That's true, for example, there was a study that came out when GTA 4 and 5 came out. Crime dropped, not skyrocketed. I mean, shit, when the internet came about, and there's, during the time when the internet came out, there's no complete answer as to why at that time, crime plummeted. Like, crime had this random, almost unexplainable means of plummeting, but it did plummet. And a lot of people do happen to attribute that time period to the internet coming into prominence. Because instead of actually committing, going out and committing crime, a lot of people were just intrigued by the internet. And that took up a lot more of their time. For better or for worse, you know what I mean? They're all corrupt to some extent. No one should have the power to be the final arbiter of anything. Humans are flawed, absolutely. And I will say this, everyone's mindset as to how the world should be, like, any mindset becoming complete in terms of as far as it can go can always become bad at some point. Elite said, there's a whole ass report on how the gaming boom in the 90s is responsible for a dramatic drop in crime again amongst youth in the United States of America, and it makes sense when you really think about it. It really does make sense. I mean, to be fair, like during the 90s, and I don't remember the early 90s. I was born in 93, so I didn't really become like super self-aware until like the late 90s. But dude, I was coming home from school to watch Toonami and to play video games. Like I wasn't out on the streets like that. And even my cousins who like they would be on the streets, don't get me wrong, especially growing up in East New York, Brooklyn. But you know, they would have their moments, you know, being on the streets, but they would also come home and play video games and watch anime, watch Toonami, you know? So there at least was a, you know, that added like an extra reason to want to come home and stay off the streets at least. I think gaming can be a stress reliever. That's probably why crime went down in the 90s. Absolutely. And it was like it was still a somewhat new phenomenon to have a gaming device at the home and not having to go to the arcade for it. And then in the 90s, once, you know, the PS1 came out, you know, there was like a change in terms of like, oh wow, these games are looking as good or better than the arcade. Because there was that point too where the arcades were like the place to go to get the true interpretation of the video game, or like the best interpretation of the video game. That was a thing for a while too. Oh yeah. I mean, shit, there's still arcades out here. It's just very, very small, more like arcades don't push like actual video games like the ones that we have anymore. But it's still fun to go to. Like I like to play the arcades version of Mario Kart because they actually have Pac-Man in the arcade version, which is cool. I love I love to play as Pac-Man. Pac-Man's awesome, so love going to the arcades. Oh yeah, I remember. So like a big thing that my pops used to do, and sometimes with my mother too. He'd take me and my brother to like Nathan's. Yes, Nathan's is more than just a brand that you buy at the store. There would actually be Nathan's restaurants. I don't know if they're probably still around too, but we'd get like hot dogs and fries and shit. And then they would have like an arcade in the back. They had a lot of like old school arcade games, as well as some of the more modern shit. Not super modern, but this is, mind you, I was like, you know, anywhere between like 10 and 15 or whatever the hell have you. Maybe a little younger than that. So we'd play arcade games after eating for hours. It's a lot of fun. Buckman.
If this makes it seem like I side with Trent against Savvy,
I was playing
absolutely
Commodore
not.
64
Just because
before
Trent is
even
correct about the mechanisms at play
being in an
here
arcade.
doesn't
Wow.
mean that his conclusions are moral ones. Quite the contrary, in fact. One, most people's morals are pretty set in stone by the time they reach adulthood, and media consumption will generally do very little to move those morals around. For example, watching a movie where a wife is beat up by a husband won't turn husbands into wife beaters en masse, as long as they have a solid moral foundation from which to engage the topic beforehand. And two, even if hypothetically somebody's morals might be affected in a way that you don't like by a specific piece of media, if you do actually value personal liberty, freedom of association, or consent as moral virtues, then you have to take up a modified form of Savvy's position. It's not that media consumption doesn't affect a person's outlook, and therefore we can just disregard the messaging or politics of everything because of suspension of disbelief. Rather, it's that it's more moral to allow people the freedom to choose to consume media that you might think is immoral, that you believe may potentially turn them down an immoral path, than it is to force them to make the choice you want them to make.
Yeah, because at some point, like, when do you become like an authoritarian pig? Like, at one point, and mind you, you know, it's fine to try and guide people to do better if they're in, especially if they're in a situation where they're not doing the right thing, because we all have those adults in our lives, like, you know, they're not doing the right thing at all. They're you know, they're fucking up, and you could try and guide them, but to an extent, like, you have to know when to say like, it is what it is, sort of deal. But Trent thinks that the mass majority of people are not doing the right thing because it be due to his religious extremism, and he thinks at some point, he can go as far as he needs to in order to, as far as to go as using propaganda and try to force propaganda into entertainment to try and force people to do the right thing. And at some point, you're a fucking bitch for this. Like, you're a piece of shit human being for this. So, yo, Dash, what's good? You said Happy New Year. Just want to say Dread Roberts tried to smear me just because I correctly called him out for unfollowing just as Gooner gets started and trying to applaud him for it. Yeah, I did see that, Dash. Someone brought it up to me. And yeah, he's people will lie in order to fucking justify their worldview. And it's sad to see that. It's absolutely sad to see that, but I hope you're doing well, Dash. Hope you have a wonderful new year.
Morality is not simply in doing the right thing, it's also in choosing to do it when you could have chosen otherwise. And you'd think a Christian of all people would understand this. Of the 3 people we've spoken about so far, Trent is by far the most grifty. Melanie Mack had a well-established career in the industry before her current TradCon arc. And while Dread Roberts may have falsely appealed to the "it's just fiction, bro, who cares" thing, despite not actually believing in it himself, he didn't really go much further than that. But Trent's grifting is on a whole other level. Despite Trent repeatedly appealing to the values of free speech and anti-censorship throughout his more mainstream reporting when it comes to progressive weirdness in video games, during his podcast appearances, he is more than happy to say he actually finds those values immoral.
It's like, I agree with 95%. You said one thing about this other person that I don't like, and it's boom, you're gone, you're cut. And it's like, okay, that's not progression. That's not progressivism. That's not liberal at all.
So I probably, I don't know if we want to get into this, but yeah, I don't think being liberal is like a good thing.
It's not.
Yeah, I think a lot of enlightenment thinking can be critiqued as well, especially.
Yeah, like he tries to, like, how do you say, like, snare people in with trying to act like he's all for being open-minded, but when you do talk to him, and I've debated him before, you could tell that he's very, very small-minded and very closed box. This is why freedom of speech is important. So when they say mask off things, you know what you can trust them with. Exactly. Yeah, like he's gone mask off multiple times. It's just that it hasn't been on a grand scale. And it doesn't help when he does have mask off moments in places that most people don't tend to watch. So yeah, it took a while for people to kind of realize or to even know who John F. Trent is, really. Some people they look at the article, but they don't actually look at the person that wrote it, or they don't pay attention, or a lot. So I think a lot of people now, they don't necessarily like to read articles. They want to listen to a creator of their choice, like a YouTuber or something, read the article. And so that's the thing too. And they won't necessarily pay attention to who wrote the article, but more so the content of the article, as well as the creator who has, criticism for the article, if it be positive or negative.
Especially with their embrace of kind of basically hedonism.
Now, I'm not saying that Trent should somehow be barred from holding these political positions. He can believe whatever he wants. But I am saying that his prior appeals to free speech, in order to get the gamers on his side, was a calculated temporary move. He does not actually align with us. In fact, he is as much an enemy of freedom of expression as the progressives are, and we need to treat 100%. Him appropriately. In 100%. fact, he's so twisted up on his own propaganda that he calls self-censorship an anti-censorship position. Now, to be clear, I have no love for Disney, and I don't care too much about whatever trans storyline is being pulled in this story. The important part here is that what Trent is saying is that censorship in service of his cause is not real censorship. In fact, he stated multiple times that he believes censoring games...
Dude, it's crazy. Like, it's almost a meme on how this dude is as a person. It really is. Dash said, SFO is speaking truth on this one. So far, Dash, this is a solid video. Some people have criticism for shortfatotaku, and honestly, I didn't know about any of that shit I'm just objectively watching the video, and so far he's pretty on point with a lot of it. Yo, my man, Big Cloud, happy New Year to you, dog. All right, Quiet Christ, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Have a good night. Have a very safe and happy New Year. So far, this video has been okay. And yeah, I think that we could all objectively say, whether you like or dislike the dude, that it's a good video that brings to light a lot of things, a lot of the people involved in this, and really it gives us, it tells us that there's a difference between, there's a difference in the anti-woke community. Like, there's definitely a very, very strong difference. There's the people that really are kind of the same as the criticisms we have for the other side, and then there's people that genuinely want like free expression and don't want propaganda in their video games. You have to check this one out. I recommend it, Dash. I definitely recommend it.
This is a good thing if they're censoring what he labels degenerate content. It sounds like the ideal Trent world is one in which all media exclusively conforms to Christian morality.
Billy Graham's Bible blaster? Keep firing! Convert the heathens!
Oh my god.
Got him! No, you just winged him and made him a Unitarian. Look out, Bert! It's gentle behind! Alright, full conversion!
The live and let live morality that I've been mentioning this whole video, where the market decides success. The market simply being people's individual choices about where they spend their money. Yeah, you know what? It turns out Trent doesn't actually agree with that at all.
Capitalism can lead to a lot of this stuff too. When you're kind of elevating the almighty dollar over Christ, and you're putting that ahead.
He calls the market, aka people's individual choices, mob rule, when that mechanism chooses something not in line with his moral.
Oh shit, we got an appearance from Wars of Paradise, aka Leon. Haven't watched The Simpsons in years. I mean, with Simpsons, to be fair, hasn't been good in years to a lot of long-time fans. This person says, we don't want lines. They can go to whichever extreme they want. Yeah, so basically Leon's saying, hey, you could put trans ideology and shit, but capitalism will take place. Like, let capitalism dictate if the shit is worth the fuck or not. Pun intended. I mean, what? All right, Chief Light, have a good night. Appreciate you hanging out.
Morals. Of course, Trent is retarded once again. A mob rule, or an ochlocracy, is an oppressive majoritarian form of government where the majority pressures or intimidates the minority into compliance. It is a form of democracy, but it's fundamentally different from liberal representative democracy, which has guardrails preventing the majority from infringing on certain rights of the minority. The most famous guardrail in the liberal tradition being the US Constitution. Uber democracy cucks like, for example, Vosh, or any of the other stupid bread tubers, who overvalue democracy for moral reasons, who think that all domains of human life should simply be more democratic a priori. They tend to either oppose or not understand why functioning societies have these limitations on democratic power. Mob rule is not when your preferred candidate loses an election, or when your preferred product doesn't sell well in a market, but it is when one individual gets lynched by a crowd, or when one victim is gangbanged by a group of people. These things are all nominally democratic, but they're also clearly very different. Trent is basically an example of what I described in my Why I Am Not a Libertarian video. Either the libertarian value of liberating people from bonds drives them leftward in pursuit of greater personal freedom, like with my friend Lilith for example, or the rightist value of tradition drives them more authoritarian, after they realize that personal freedom means the freedom to abandon tradition. Trent is an example of the latter. After all, democracy means the people choose, and they might not choose your way.
Got an internship at a political action committee. It was a libertarian organization called Freedom Works. So I was kind of very elevating the market and this idea that the market can like solve all problems and believe that I was basically worshiping it as a god at the time, not realizing that because I had bought in. I was kind of blinded by what was actually happening.
Again, I'm not.
So basically, he was realizing that libertarians were not going to fucking embrace his religious zealotry. I don't know if that's what he's implying. Yeah, like when people bring like the zealotry to market, and it's like, hey, you can choose to buy into this. Yeah, most people aren't. They're not. Nobody wants your fucking zealotry. No one gives a fuck. Chris says, I definitely don't like the modern audience shit in games, but I try not to associate it with the anti-woke crowd because they really are as bad as the woke. It's two sides of the same shitty coin. At some point, like, they do happen to meet in the same way. Like, I got so much shit for basically saying as going on his little Starfield rant, like, he's acting just like the fucking retard leftists that were screaming, all right, when Trump got elected. Like, the ones that we constantly meme, like, you constantly meme on and make fun of, like, you literally are acting the exact same way. And I got shit for it. It's like, bro, at some point you have to accept that these motherfuckers is acting the same way, some of them. Like, it is what it is. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to act uncool and cringe like that. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna fucking do it. Too bad. and if you act cringe like that, I'm gonna call you out for it. Cause it sucks when I see some fucking loser going on a deranged fucking tirade rant, all right, acting like the fucking retards we make fun of, spewing my thought processes or something along those lines. Not exactly the same shit, but something along those lines of the side that I support, or just, I won't say the side I support, but the thought processes and the mindset that I support. You love the As rant. I hated it because it's like, bro, like, what you're saying, most of it I agree with, but you're acting like a belligerent leftist in the process. And it makes what I feel like, or what I'm saying, or my stances look retarded. You know? Yo, Spectre, what's good with you? Hope you're having a great New Year's Eve. He says, you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The holy rollers are out and about, man. That's what I call them anyway, holy rollers. People need to find God themselves. Forcing religion on anyone has never worked. Yeah, because instantaneously they're just going to reject it. Like, you could always be open to extending a hand to someone that finds interest, but if you grab their hand when they're saying, nah, I'm good, bro, like, yeah, naturally they're going to tell you to go fuck yourself and basically hate everything you stand for, because they're going to think, whether it's true or not, that whatever you're trying to sell them, it has made you crazy. Our rule has been, don't like it, don't buy it. Or watch it and move on. Losing your shit about a work of fiction is just ridiculous. Yeah, like, at some point, it's like, when is enough enough? When is, going too far a thing? Like, what is the line? Like, I definitely try to be cordial, just because, like, you guys know that I'm the type of person, I like to be smooth about shit. I like to be cool about shit. I mean, I have my moments where I have my little rants and stuff, and that's for entertainment's sake. But I definitely don't take things too far, because I don't want to feel that I'm being corny myself. Like, I have my own shit that's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that because that shit look kind of whack. And for everyone that's different, where that line is, but I definitely like to be cool or smooth, or at least what I think that is,
Saying he can't hold these views. I'm not even saying that you can't critique capitalism, but his argument is that the market mechanism is bad because it doesn't prioritize God over people's individual desires, in the same way that a socialist might reject the market for not prioritizing their own view of perfection. Trent represents the opposite end of the stupidity spectrum that Vosh is on, which is probably why he hates horseshoe theory so much. He's a living embodiment of it.
I'd rather be goon smooth than smooth brain. Michael, I appreciate you, dog. Right back at you, man.
The socialists are incorrect when they say that capitalism is this dictatorial regime, that the market is just a rigged game that the rich use to control the poor. Ironically enough, that is what markets turn into under state socialist regimes. Against all leftist logic, markets are actually an expression of democratic power, of common people making a choice based on their interests. And
it's like, here's the thing, man. Like, you could say you support something, and that's democratic in nature. But at the end of the day, put your fucking money where your mouth is. And that's when a lot of people's real, like, what they stand for really gets put to the test. Put your fucking money where your mouth is, period. And that's when you see people's true fucking stances. Because we've seen people talk that talk all the time. Especially, like, when you look towards the other side. The other side is a great example of this shit. Like, the other side supports all these games. What happened? Like, all the games that we laughed at. Motherfuckers ain't buy them. So do you really support that shit? No, you don't. Exactly. Concord to nobody. Motherfuckers was talking that talk about supporting Concord. What happened? Motherfuckers ain't buy that shit. So y'all don't give a fuck, right? Y'all really don't give a fuck. So what's true democracy? Just saying some shit or doing or buying some shit? I mean, like, to some extent, both are applicable. But when push comes to shove, you really gotta prove that shit. Like, money, how do you say, like, something has to be backed by something. Just saying something doesn't mean that you truly back it. Like, money is backed by what? Gold. Your words, your words should be backed by something because talk is cheap. So that's what it is. Is that why you have Furry Games Cast? The market chooses choices you made. We see your library. Well, the thing is, those aren't my market choices. That is my audience's market choices. So my audience liked that shit so much so they wanted to give it to me. All right, but I did not make these market choices.
And the sellers of more popular products winning the competition against the sellers of less popular products as a result. However, this is why Trent hates market capitalism.
Yo, Xavier, Happy New Year, my guy.
Because markets are a democratizing force, and allowing people the freedom to choose, even when it comes to choosing how they spend their money, means they have the.
You cannot tell me that I have backed any of this fuck shit goonery, all right? These fuck shit goonery games that you give to me. I did not put any money towards that. You guys put money towards that. So shout out to y'all in chat. That's what you believe in.
Freedom to not choose God. In a straight competition, his ideology inevitably loses. And just so we're clear, yes, Trent, Christianity is an ideology. An ideology is a system of ideals and beliefs that form the basis of economic and political theory and policy. If you want an explicitly Christian government, then Christianity is, for you, not only a faith, but an ideology. This is why, for example, Islamic State...
How can you sit here and say that that's not an ideology? That's crazy. Like, we know that you're trying to sell, like, your religious stuff as, in a nice way, presented in a nice way, but you can't sit here and act like it's not an ideology. Yo, my man Brandon, hope you're having a good New Year's Eve, my guy. SPGP should be getting... Oh yeah, the update. Nice. Nice, that's dope. Yeah, he's been continuing to work on the game, and that's nice to see. Love all y'all, and keep kicking ass. Absolutely, bro. Happy New Year's Eve to you, dog. Hope that 2025 will be absolutely not just fruitful, but a better year overall for you, Brandon. Yo, my man Teddy, what's good, homie? You dig Tomboys? Shout out to you, Rocky. Hey, Fel, appreciate the New Year's wishes. All right, Happy New Year to you as well. Joshy boy. Hope you're doing all right, Josh. Shout out to you, bro. You are loved by these abusers in your chat. They send you games. Might be weird games, but they wouldn't send it to you if they didn't care. This is true, Lurch Troll. This is true. I do appreciate y'all nonetheless, even despite you sending me some interesting gifts. It's like when a cat brings a dead mouse to its owner. It's a gift out of love. The owner doesn't necessarily want it, but nonetheless, it is them making the sacrifice that, even despite it being absolutely disgusting, you still should appreciate the gesture. Dark X says, John F. Trek keeps reminding me of those people who come to your house and preach about their religion. Even after I told them I believe in another religion and want to be left alone, they keep preaching. Yeah, those are what we call the holy rollers. When they roll up to your house, and usually they're what do they call them? Jehovah's Witnesses. Normally they're the holy rollers that roll up on your house. You in the nomination for Crash Out of the Year Awards? When did I crash out? When did I crash out? At least Hypnotic made it up. His bad game and gave you. Yes, the Game Wolf. Yeah, Hypnotic was trolling me, but he did pull up with some heat. All right, so shout out to Hypnotic because I did get Stalker 2 and I'm waiting for updates so that the game is in good working order. But that is one that I am very appreciative of. So that's I can respect that for sure. So he's trying to say, but it isn't a true ideology in so much as it is a personal relationship with God. And the thing is, Levistro, I understand the personal relationship with God, and that isn't an ideology. But that's between like the person of faith and God. When they then try to bring it into like the general social space and not like the religious, like, you know, when you take it from, how do you say, like when you take it from your church to the public square and you're trying to convert and do all that stuff, then that's when it's a different story. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not going to sit here and say that your personal relationship with God is an ideology. Like, no, that's your personal thought processes with your God. And I could respect that. And what I don't respect is any disrespect right now. So I'm hoping that what I just heard is not disrespect. And once again, I'm scared. I fear for my life. I fear for my life. All right, let's see what we got. We got a GIF. I'm scared. What? This game is called Hitler is My Crush, Love and Fascism. Nagal, you good, brother? Really? A crazy love story that defies logic, common sense, and everything you knew about the world. You play as a girl madly in love with the Führer. Y'all are fucking sick. Did you hear about the bitch that married Charles Manson while he was in prison? Yo, bitches be crazy, bro. Lilith got some words to say about that. Your move, Gooner? Oh my god. This is my move. As I slowly die inside. I hate you all.
States are not simply religiously Islamic, but politically Islamic as well. Trent doesn't simply want Christianity in his private life.
No! God, why? Why? Why do thou forsaken me? Oh shit. We got a low-key banger. We got Limbo. I had this game on my Vita. It was actually one of the first games I bought. Okay, that's a banger. I have not been forsaken. I have not been forsaken. Yes. Casualties Gaming says, you may hate me. No, this is actually a banger. I played this on Vita. It was a banger. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Limbo is a sleeper, man. It's a sleeper hit. I recommend it. Thank you for that. That was actually really dope. Appreciate you. You had it on physical. I wish I had a physical copy of the game. Nah, I remember like, so I got a Vita for my birthday, like in like 2013. And that was one of the first games I picked up. Maybe the first game I picked up. Beat game? Hell yeah. Fucking Vita banger, baby. Yeah. Yeah, casualties, that's fair. Sometimes casualties be pulling up with the fuck shit. Sometimes you be pulling up with a banger. Shout out to him. Appreciate you, dog. Never played it? It's a good little indie game.
Life. He thinks it's
solid.
appropriate to explicitly extend it into the state, which is why for him, it's an ideology. In reply to this assertion, he's posted yet another block quote written by somebody else, where from the Christian point of view, it's not an ideology, because it's a Christ-centered social order, rather than a human-created socio-political solution to all human problems imposed politically.
And this is the same exact shit that he proposed to me. Like, the same fucking argument. Alright, since morality, since life would not exist without God, then it's more than just an ideology. It is the basis of life itself. My moral compass is the basis of life itself. And it's like, okay, you may believe this, and that's fair if you do, but you're gonna have to accept the reality not everyone believes this. You actually got into a fight with Trent on that quote tweet. He got mad when I told him liberalism was founded on Christian ideals. I have the right to do anything. Yeah? Yep. Yeah, he definitely has a very warped mindset to try and justify imposing his life standard on everyone else and whenever he pleases. And then gets mad. And then purposely gets mad when the other side of the aisle with their different ideology does the same thing.
Jesus is badly written. But Christ-centered or not, divinely inspired or a rational belief, either way, if you want a Christian government, if you want Christian law as the law of the state, then it is imposed politically, and it is an ideology. I'm not sure if Trent even reads the nonsense he fucking posts. As we've seen over the course of this entire video, one of the biggest dangers of ideological capture is that ideologues do not view hypocrisy as a moral failing. To progressives, censorship of progressive ideas is bad, while censorship of anti-progressive ideas is good. To the religious right, censorship of Christian ideas is bad, while censorship of anti-Christian ideas is good. These groups aren't principally pro-free speech. They're just pro themselves. And I'm not the only one who's observed this behavior before, especially when it comes to Trent. I was on Smash JT's panel a couple of weeks ago discussing...
Oh shit, look who's there! Look who's there! Let's go! You're not seeing the wrong thing. By the way, I was at work when I was there. We on the griff. Let's go! Yes. Yes, I was on this panel while I was at work. And mind you, this is why I bought this. Because yeah, once you hear how terrible my audio sounds, you can be like, ugh, how was she even allowed on
this
here?
whole affair. And this one lady came in who I have no idea who she is, I'm sorry dude, but she absolutely hit the nail on the head. She 100% clarified exactly what we'd all been noticing.
You know how long I've been waiting for this moment? I've been waiting for this moment for a year. To go at these morality policing religious retards that have been you know, wolves in sheep's clothing in our community for far too long. It's been a huge issue that I've definitely addressed multiple times. And with John F. Trent, he used to be at Bounding Into Comics. He actually fucked up Bounding Into Comics because he can't help himself going in his little religious tirades in an article talking about Spider-Man or whatever have you.
Perspective. Because every now and then I'll hear something and go, okay.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
You know, he slipped that one in there, and it felt so games journalists. You know what I mean? When they're just like Trump, and I'm like, okay, bro, okay.
Yeah, he can't help
I stopped
himself.
reading Bounding in the comments for a while because of that shit.
Yeah,
So,
same.
So the lore is, he left Bounding. I actually know a lot of people at Bounding that are good people. Some of them are even religious, but they choose to be objective in analyzing entertainment. Shout out to them for that. But then there's also good people that do want to talk about straight up entertainment at Bounding, and they're happy to have gotten rid of John F. Trent as well as John De La Rose. Now Trent went to That Park Place, and he was on his, his usual bullshit there. And then he left That Park Place, and now he's at Phantom Pulse, which Phantom Pulse is ran by John De La Rose, another religious retard in our community that continues to fester. So that's pretty much how things have been going in terms of John F. Trent moving around.
I appreciate these extreme stances here.
Yo.
That's what they're going to view it as, extreme.
Yo, I fucks with. Shout out to Kyle, bro. I love Kyle. Oh yeah, Trent has burned. Trent and De La Rose went like scorched earth, full retard. Against like the people at Bounding and Spencer, and have come up with some really deranged lies. Like, one that John De La Rose constantly says, and Trent agrees with this as well, that apparently Disney bought out Bounding into comics, which is hilarious. Like, they apparently bought out Bounding. This is the insane attempt to really just gaslight. Yes, they say this. Dash is the thing. Hilarious.
He doesn't really hold back on anything. That's why.
No, I mean, like, it's not really extreme. It's just they're going to call it extreme.
Yes, I saw that meme. Levi Strauss was crying. Trent knocking on the door of these websites and killing them.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to say, that Sael guy, I love the way his avatar animates. It's fucking hilarious. So, that is who JF Trent is. He's not really a part of the gaming community. He's a snake who slithered in under the flag of anti-woke solidarity.
Yeah.
In fact, he fully admits that
He doesn't play video games. Neither does De La Rose. They don't. They just hijacked our space and constantly talk about our interests. And sometimes I will say this, at least Trent covers general news topics. I will say that. And sometimes that can be helpful. But a lot of the time too, he's just a problem. So there's that too. They use nerd culture for their own agenda. Exactly. Like, they've hijacked our spaces in order to really just grow an audience. And then really to push their own agendas. If it be with De La Rose, who does push his religious ideology, but also has his GoFundMes, and then Trent that does seem to just want to grow his YouTube channel, grow his influence, but also to push his religious authoritarianism.
in terms of the broader nerd culture, if there even is such a thing. He was a comics kid, not a gamer. And he also fully admits that as he got older, he fell out of comics entirely and became a car and sports dude bro normie instead.
So I was actually what we call a cradle Catholic. So I was born into a Catholic family. I was raised Catholic from as a child, all the way through pretty much through middle school. I went to Catholic school, Catholic elementary school from kindergarten through 8th grade. However, probably towards the end, got really involved in soccer, and soccer pretty much was dominating my life.
No, they're not related, Ghost.
Sports, and you go on Sundays. So kind of moved away from practicing my faith during that time, and then obviously went to a public high school. Well, not obviously, but I went to a public high school and definitely became more worldly in those things. And what happens was really had like a lot of culture shock because didn't really know some of the things that were going on. We started kind of getting into comics probably a little bit older.
I'm just imagining Trent having like went to these Catholic schools, and mind you, I went to Catholic school for a while too, but I lived in New York. I don't know where Trent lived at when he was going to Catholic high school. So even though I went to Catholic grade school, high school, up until like my last year of high school. Even despite having been to like those Catholic schools, private Catholic schools, I still had a general worldly view of life because there weren't just white people in these Catholic schools that I was in. So I could imagine if Trent was in like a more of like a rural state that he probably didn't know. Like, I'm just imagining he was just surrounded by white people all his life until he went to high school. um, I wore like a little like when I was really young. It gave you more options when you got older in grade school. But yeah, when I was a kid, I did wear a dress to go to Catholic school, like from I don't know, like first, second, and third-ish. No, like first and second grade. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I did not do that for very long. They gave other options, so I would wear pants though. So that was cool too. At least they offered pants. But yeah. So at least like even despite me having gone to private school, I still had a general worldly view of life because I lived in Queens, New York. Like I wonder how John F. Trent's life was up until he went to high school and he was like, "Oh, I was hit with culture shock." So like I'm wondering what level of culture shock that was. It could have been like just a general like they don't really practice religion at all, or is it like, "Oh my god, I'm seeing people that are not white for the first time." Toxian says, "I lived in Queens too." Nice, nice. Shout out to Queens, New Yorkers. You lived in Queens. Did you ever see Spooderman? No, I have not seen Spooderman. So, like, I'm wondering what level. Like, I'm just imagining the most extreme level of him being culture shocked. I got blocked by Trent on my previous Twitter that before it got banned. That was like months before my old Twitter got banned. But yeah, like he has, I don't believe he's blocked me on Twitter yet on my new Twitter. Let me see. Oh yeah, he hasn't actually blocked me on the new Twitter account. But yeah, my old one he had me blocked. Because I get mad disrespectful with that dude. I definitely am super disrespectful. I'm surprised he didn't auto block me. Taking bets. I got a family on my father's side that lives in Queens. Hey, shout out to your family in Queens, man.
Than most people. I was reading some of the stuff, probably more adult stuff, I guess. I was reading Cal and things like that, published by Image Comics. And that's really kind of how I started getting into comics. Those were some of my first comics. And then I'm really passionate about is stock car racing. And so I have it's just my name, John F. Trent. So I have my stock car channel.
So he definitely does have two YouTube accounts, two YouTube channels. One seems to be his actual true passion, and the other one seems to be his grift. So he has the racing channel. And then he has the one where he talks about entertainment that he isn't even interested in. So that's the grift. How about Rebecca Valentine? Never interacted with her, but found out she blocked me after my Black Myth Wukong video. Rebecca Valentine. I'm not familiar with her. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can find her. Just out of curiosity at this point. I don't even know who she is. Oh, there's too many Rebecca Valentines to be able to tell. IGN journalist? Oh. That's why I wouldn't know who the fuck she is. Because I don't pay attention to these fucking IGN journalists. Oh, man. I don't see any of these bitches that say IGN in their bio, so can't really say for sure, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. Casgate. She was the woman that shit on Wukong. Oh, that stupid bitch. I got you. So I know who she is vaguely. I didn't cover her directly, more so just the reaction to the bullshit. So all right, guys, let's continue. Yeah, I don't remember her Twitter account.
Channel 2 that I've launched too.
Once again, I'm not saying you can't like those things. Those are perfectly fine.
Levistro, if this was my old Twitter, bro, it'd be a whole different story, man. I got myself very much blocked by a whole fuck ton of people. Because I was talking to my boy Rob. Shout out to Rob Motto. He's like a movie critic. That's his main bag. He actually posted in DMs like how many people have him blocked, and I'm like, wow, there's no way I'm catching up to you. Like, maybe I had a chance on my old account, but there's no fucking way I'm catching up to you now. Like, it's not possible. He has been blocked by all major fucking film critics out there in that space. Like, he is completely just like, he is #1 most hated dude in that space.
Interests. My point is, he's not a gamer. He's a culture warrior. He views the various interrelated nerd spaces that share some overlap but aren't that connected, like comics and gaming and movies and anime and tabletop and whatever else, as domains to push his ideology. They are not home to him as they might be to you or I. Probably the funniest example of his idiocy for me is when he published that article claiming that Nintendo was going woke because Vivian was made trans in the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door remaster. He cited me on side-scrollers, explaining that Vivian is an otakonoko in Japanese, a cross-dressing feminine male, which is not considered to be a trans identity in that culture. However, weirdos in the West do try to push them to be trans. That article's since been deleted, probably because he eventually figured out that even if otakonoko aren't trans, they sure as fuck aren't straight either.
Oh shit, damn, you looking real cute. What's your name?
My name is Felix.
Oh shit. I'm killing myself.
He basically just latches on to any sort of anti-trans.
Oh my god. Yes, that was a dude. I have a problem with the dude. It was the motherfucker's response that was filming it. Yeah, like, yo. Yo, that is fucking funny. Holy shit, bro.
Trans narrative he can on the topic of the day, without even thinking it through, because he has a black hole where his brain should be. But most importantly of all, Trent was never anti-censorship. He simply wants to take our spaces and turn them explicit. But most importantly of all, Trent was never anti. But most importantly of all,
where is it?
But most important.
Oh man.
But most importantly of all, Trent was. Thing.
Oh man, I can't play it.
But most importantly of all, Trent was never anti-censorship. He simply wants to take our spaces and turn them explicitly pro-Christian, censoring non-Christian content in the process, just like the progressives do. And he views our rejection of his moralizing, our defense against his push into our spaces, as an attack on Christianity, which is also just like how the progs take pushback too. This is why, in the broader conversation, the woke right is becoming a thing. Which, by the way, Trent hates being called that too. It's because both the woke left and the woke right, I still hate that label, but whatever, they do operate in the same way. They both believe their entire moral code should be forced on all people. They believe any rejection of their views, any impediments to their colonization of a space, as an aggressive attack against them, which justifies further radicalization and expansion. And they don't believe that neutral spaces can truly exist. And even if they could, they shouldn't. Therefore, the defenders of neutrality are the worst sinners, even worse than their open enemies.
I hate these filthy neutrals, Kif. With enemies, you know where they stand, but with neutrals, who knows? It sickens me.
So, yeah, Trent's not a woke progressive, but he plays by their handbook, and we should view him the same way. This isn't one of those instances where you can break bread with somebody who has different views than you, because that type of friendly yet adversarial reaction requires at least some recognition of neutrality, and understanding that while you are both opposed, you still respect each other's domains, and you don't need to fight.
Yeah, that's the problem. He feels it's justified to invade on people's fucking, like, lifestyles. Like, he feels it's morally justified. And how do you debate with someone that refuses to respect your boundaries? How can you have a like, I don't want to say not have a conversation, but how can you bother with somebody that refuses to respect your boundaries overall? Like, it's just not possible. You know, because he fundamentally thinks that it's completely acceptable due to his religious zealotry to impede on your personal space. So, like, there's no respect. Like, that is deliberately being disrespectful. So if there's no genuine level of respect for someone, like, if you don't have the same level of respect, I mean, what conversation can be had?
Trent is not that person. He views interacting with people who are different from him as either an opportunity to attack or to convert. Other people and communities are fodder for his ideology. They're not things to be left alone. There is no reason not to treat Trent like the subversive element that he is. One of the other people that
Aw, shit. Here we go again.
our mystery savior girl here brings up as being in cahoots with Trent in shitting up gaming spaces.
I'm mystery savior girl. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Mystery savior girl, let's go. We're talking about Delaros. Ooh. This fucking clown. Oh my god, he's the worst of them, arguably. Yo, Scott, what's good, my homie? Appreciate you pulling up.
With their religious moral policing is John Delarose.
Phantom Pulse.
Oh my god! He used to be so fucking fat. Holy shit! That's a whole other human being. Holy shit. I've never seen that picture of Delarose. Holy fuck, dude. Yeah, this dude is the worst of them. Like, honestly, he is so annoying. Cass drooling over JDA? Ugh. Oh, God. I never realized he was this fat at one point. Holy shit. That's kind of crazy. It's, yeah, this dude, we definitely have beef. He hates me. He hates me so much.
Cult classic mystery savior girl cage.
Yo! Bikini, thank you so much for the 5, fam. Appreciate that. Absolutely. I mean, I try to be. All right. I'm not necessarily a savior, but I strive to at least entertain you all and give you and save you from the retards, all right, or the uninteresting and unentertaining people that are on the interwebs. And there you go.
Is ran by John Delarose, another religious retard in our community that continues to fester.
I don't gotta haul Dave back out of the closet for another voice in this video, because everything that we've already spoken about applies to John Delarose. But I will bring Naomi back one last time. Let's return to that final long savvy tweet from before.
This isn't policing, it's respecting what someone created. I invite her to create something new if she seeks to change something. However, Microsoft is going to Microsoft, and if the next update or launch for Halo fails, there's the answer. I'm not saying she can't make something. I'm just saying if she is as unqualified as she looks to be, it's not a good choice, which will lead to a poor product that the market will reject. You, on the other hand, would rather something not be made in the first place. Halo should exist. It should exist as Halo. It should be respected because that's what the original team made. If people seek to change that, then it is bastardizing what exists. Or are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to change Tolkien's works? Or are you fine with all the changes to Marvel characters for the sake of doing it? DEI/ESG and those who believe in it and get hired through it are exhibiting censorship when they don't respect established lore.
Trent might have stopped replying, but John tagged in instead, saying,
Oh my god, John is so fucking annoying. Yo, shout out to my man Picasso for the 1 month. Appreciate you, dog. It says, Salud, Happy New Year's, disfruta. Appreciate you, homie. Hope you're having a wonderful New Year's.
I thought the goal was for them to stop making degeneracy. He's taken up Trent's position here, not surprising since they work together at Fandom Pulse. He doesn't want to free gaming from woke progressive censorship. He just wants to be the one who decides what gets censored. In fact, pretty much...
Absolutely. This dude has a god complex, probably worse than everyone else that's been brought up here. Like, you think Melanie Mack is bad? Imagine Like, honestly, De La Rose is way worse than Melanie Mac with way less than Melanie Mac. Like, that's how sad and pathetic this dude is.
All of his arguments are identical to Trent's. Screaming about sexual content in gaming being degenerate and anti-Christian? Check. Obvious hypocrisy when it comes to his previous Stellar Blade reporting on his channel? Check. Stretching the definition of porn to include basic butt shots or upskirt angles that show no genitalia, while at the same time cheering on other butts that people find attractive anyway? Check.
Yep.
I don't even understand how this retard has a brain. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost as though he changed on that stance completely overnight. This dude is literally has a GoFundMe that the main character that was on the cover page of the GoFundMe for his, I don't know, his fucking comic book thing that he had going on that he would promote all the time. He literally had a chick on it that he would consider by his new moral standard to be like, you know, porn.
And by the way, Del Arroz was blatant on banning porn but totally fine with attractive women in his thumbnails and comics. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a blatant case of hypocrisy and jumping on trends.
Absolutely. He is more than anyone else here, in my opinion, the biggest hypocrite. He 100% fucking completely just, I don't know, man. I don't know what his thought process is. And when you call out the fact that his stances are as hypocritical as they seem, he then says that you're just trying to cancel him. He's a victim. You are a fucking woke leftist that goes on cancel culture, blah, blah, blah. That he basically becomes one of the biggest fucking losers. And, you know, he's just honestly so fucking annoying. But, Maki, thank you so much for the 10, fam. You totally didn't have to do all that, but I appreciate it nonetheless. He's definitely the biggest weirdo. He's the biggest hypocrite. He's the biggest weirdo. As much as I can't stand Trent, I think that De La Rose is somehow fucking worse. Like, it's crazy to think that it can get worse than John F. Trent, but he definitely fights for first place in being the biggest dumbass on this list.
on December 23rd, he mocked the idea of V thinking that a pretty woman in a leotard is porn. But 5 days earlier on the 18th, he called Zenless Zone Zero, allowing an upskirt camera angle on girls who mainly wear pants, porn. He's doing that subversive definition stretching thing that Melanie Mac does, but he's not even being consistent with his new definition, because he simply wants to beat other people into compliance with it. Listen, the bounding into comics guy spreading around the fake nude of Melanie Mac, yeah, that was a shit move. But the fact that you're apparently dancing on bounding into comics' grave over what? This tiny downtick of viewers over the course of, what is this, a 3-day period? Or
yes. So Del Rose, he's really extremely bitter because Bounding into Comics told him, hi, you can't do sensationalized fucking titles for your articles anymore. So basically you can't be overtly clickbaity and culture war heavy as you used to, because they were trying to be more like the reasonable discussion in the room, you know? So like they stopped wanting to be overly sensationalistic that John F. Trent was pushing them toward being. So he got really upset by that. He wanted to actually take John F. Trent's position when John F. Trent left, and they said, no, go fuck yourself. Like, oh man, like he totally was super butthurt by the fact that, hey, like, yeah, you're not getting the leadership position at Bounding into Comics, and we're also not sensationalizing articles for clickbait anymore. And he was just like, well, fuck you, I'm gonna go make my own thing. Then he went and made Phantom Pulse. I think why Melanie Mac gets more flack is due to her seeming more hypocritical. I guess it's the presentation. So while she can certainly be hypocritical, John De La Rose is by far more hypocritical. The reason why Melanie gets more flack is because she is a more popular person in the space by leaps and bounds. And she is way more popular than De La Rose is by a lot. De La Rose, he writes articles, so in that there's more of an obscureness to him, but also his YouTube channel isn't nearly as popular. But he is I'm telling you, by far, like, he is the worst. He embodies essentially all of the people that this video has discussed to an even more extreme degree. I think the package also plays into it. She looks like a paradox. Yeah, and to be fair, and not to make this like, so there is a reality to that of just like women garner more interest, generally speaking, in both good and bad ways because they're women. And this sometimes plays into a woman's favor. Hi, it's she's a pretty woman. We're gonna give her more attention, and sometimes that's positive, but also sometimes that's negative as well. Like there's dudes in the space that will attack a woman because they're a woman. They feel more safer in doing so. There's that as well. So, that's not me like having necessarily like a feminist take. Like that happens in both a positive and negative way in a woman's, in a woman's favor, but also to their detriment. Melanie also gets shit because she's a legit moron. Don't like to be mean, but it's true. And that's definitely fair as well, because there's a lot of takes that she has that's definitely fucking off a cliff. Yes, attractiveness can give them an edge in content creation. Yes, more so attractiveness and just the fact that she's a woman can get her more attention. That attention doesn't necessarily mean that it's good or bad, but it is attention. Truth. Yep. However, not all women wins with their attractiveness in content creation. Absolutely. That's a fact. Cast makes you love the surprise. Yeah, that's what I love to hear. That's awesome. Good shit, Devastator is an awesome surprise. She's a fairly shallow person. I often wonder, like, in terms of how she presents herself, yes. Yes, it's almost kind of, I don't know, how do you say, like, I have to actually look up the word. Like, uncanny. Yeah, I had to actually look up the word to know if it was, like, the right name to attach to her. But it's almost uncanny how shallow she does present herself in terms of being a content creator. It's mysterious. I wonder how she is, like, just as a real life person. You know what I mean? I'm gonna take a cut, but when it's great, it's great. Hugh Sigourney Weaver. It's not a bed of roses. Never will be. Yeah, absolutely. Hot take: Tomb Raider is a good game, and Melanie can't say. I mean, that's fair to say for classic Tomb Raider. That's fair to say. Quite a few of the subjects she talks about aren't very well thought through, though. Yeah. But yeah, and you guys seem to have a lot of criticism towards Melanie, and I think that it is all warranted. But I'm telling you, from generally knowing like what Melanie Mac is about versus John De La Rose is worse. Is by far so much fucking worse. Like, at least I can give Melanie like respect for generally owning her bullshit and not acting like a fucking victim all the time, whereas JDA constantly acts like a victim bitch all of the time. All of the fucking time. He is the biggest cunt here. I wouldn't say this, the first 3 Tomb Raiders are goon games, but the marketing definitely was. That's fair. For sure.
Some shit? Because you religious puritanical retards were drummed out of that site for shitting it up with your moralizing nonsense? Yeah, it just sounds like you guys are petty and desperate.
Super bitter.
So I haven't really
Super
talked about
bitter.
this at all, really. But so as I mentioned earlier, the company that I previously sold it to came under new management in October. And in November, I was informed that they were going to be taking the site in a different direction editorially, and I decided to resign at that point and have joined That Park Place, and I'm now the editor-in-chief at That Park Place.
Just in case it's not completely clear what my stance is here, guys, just because I'm anti-left does not make me pro-right. The religious Christian censor pigs do belong in the same camp as the woke progressive censor pigs. And anyone who's gone through this song and dance before like I have, saw this backstab coming a mile away. I guess there's only one final question to ask. Why is this all happening now? Why didn't they pull out their crucifix-branded knives during the Stellar Blade situation, considering just how much insane Coomer bait that game has in it? Well, once again, the boring answer is, I think, the correct one. It's just real politics. Trump won the 2024 election.
Oh yeah, they caught, like, Trump winning has definitely set them off. Because I think that really Trump winning isn't necessarily all direct support for Trump, but more so I think a decent amount of it is indirect support. Like, hey, I'm not, like, there's a lot of people out there that's like, hey, I'm not necessarily a fan of Trump, but I'll vote for him because I hate the other side so much fucking more. Which I can understand. I can understand that assessment for sure. And a lot of this, so that was a big perpetrator in why Trump definitely won. And so basically Trump winning is a direct rejection of like woke nonsense that's been going on. And like I said, I hate using the term, but it just kind of sums it up. But like, people are just tired of the overtly super ultra progressive fucking ideological bullshit that's been forced on them for years. If it be in media, if it be in politics, if it be in entertainment, all of it. Like, it was a rejection of that shit, I think, more than anything else, really. And they see that, hey, like, you know, the ultra progressive ideological bullshit is at an all-time low in terms of popularity. So now they want to swoop in and try and, oh, well, it's our time to move in and try and take that ground. That's how these fucking mentally deranged lunatics see it, with the you know, the religious ultra right fucking extremists.
For a lot of right-leaning people, that has brought ease to their minds. In their view, the country's been sinking for the past 4 years, and now the ship is going to be righted once again. Regardless of whether or not that's actually true, what matters is that the rightoids believe it's true. When the Stellar Blade discourse was at its peak, Trump's victory was far from assured. The progressives might have been losing culturally, but certainly not electorally, not yet. And people are keenly aware.
Yeah, endorsing games at the time like Stellar Blade is a move to gain general acceptance or just to be liked by people that otherwise wouldn't like these motherfuckers otherwise. So I hate the woke term too, but there is not another good description for extreme leftist actions. It's hard not to use it. Yeah, like, so if we've already had the discussion and I kind of just want to move forward without, you know, spending an insane amount of time over something that we've already established and we already have a general understanding is, then I'll just throw the term out there and keep it moving. But I do hate to just simply just say it and then keep going, because there's more to the conversation than just one word. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, people like John F. Trent, John De La Rose definitely wanted to gain the interest of people that otherwise would be completely turned off by their fuckery. So that's why they would endorse games like Stellar Blade and generally orchestrate or generally, how do you say, like, make themselves out to look like they're like free expression sort of people, even though they're definitely zealots that are pro censorship. And the reason is that the bread became too expensive and the circuses, aka force ideology bullshit in our entertainment, sucks. Yeah, absolutely. People are just sick of all that shit. They're sick of being sick. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Enough is enough, and there was a rejection of all that shit.
Of the impact that various subcultures have on the wider culture. The right-wingers probably held their tongue to keep the centrists, moderates, and apolitical people on side. Recall what I said back at the start of the video. Politics is largely in-group preference. If you have right-wing friends who treat you well on a personal level, you are more likely to vote right-wing. It's as simple as that. The ascendancy of the right in the past decade can be partially blamed on the left purity testing everyone out of their spaces.
Yeah.
But now that Trump has won,
yeah, it's like, so in order to gain favorability. So, and a lot of us in the middle want the general respect of everyone. You know what I mean? Like, we demand the general respect of our choices, whether you agree with them or not. The left was placating towards that, you know, during like the Bush years and Romney and whatnot. Like, they were generally pretending that they were accepting of differences. How do you say it? Like, the base premise is they pretend to be accepting of difference of opinions when they are losing the battle. And that was during, like, you know, the fucking Bush years and whatnot. But then they came into prominence, came into power, and then the right was suddenly like, hey, you know, we're more accepting of you guys. Just kind of side with us now as we fight we fight the power that's been pushing their shit and trying to do, trying to force you into their ideology. So, like, whoever's losing, whichever side is losing, always puts on, we're accepting of the differences of opinion. Hang out with us. That always is the case. And we, in us being millennials, have seen it happen from both perspectives, and we know the game that both sides have played. So we're very untrusting of both sides because we've seen both sides pull the power moves to build up their influence. So for me, I don't fuck with either side because I know their bullshit. I know their tactics. I demand that you respect my space. That's the whole thing. So I'll be okay with whichever side respects my space, but the moment they start to turn, I will turn against you and fight back. 100%. I'm ready to turn either way. Whoever wants to fuck with me, whoever refuses to respect my space, yeah, you gonna get the smoke. So I'm ready for either side to do that shit. Exactly. Don't tread on me. 100%. When I was in the army, I quickly hated all parties. They are the same. You know, they never voted for war. Both sides also micromanaged the military so we couldn't do our job. And with poor equipment. What, Levistro? I've heard the stories, but you've actually been there. And I 100% believe you. Hey, Lindo! Happy New Year's Eve, sir. Miss Bella, Happy New Year's Eve. We're almost there. At least over here, we're almost there. The uniparty is real. It's true. It is true. So I'm just untrusting of either side. If you will generally respect me at a particular time period, I will return that respect. But once you change and become authoritarian and trying to force me into shit that I don't feel comfortable with, then that's when I turn against you too. Period. All I demand is to be respected, whether you agree with me or not. And if you have a problem with that, well, go fuck yourself. It's really that simple.
Centrists and moderates and apoliticals are no longer needed.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
The bridges the rightoids had built with them were useful, but now it serves their purposes to burn those bridges. Purity spirals do have a valid function, or else the left wouldn't do it. It's a part of consolidating power after you've grasped it. Once you're on the throne, you have to cut the fat and keep only the most loyal supporters.
Absolutely.
If you want more details on this, read the Dictator's Handbook. Or hell, just watch CGP Gray's videos on the topic. Understanding this explains everything. In actual politics, the MAGA people have switched from, we're a big tent, we represent America, the common man, to screaming that no deals can be cut. All non-MAGA supporters need to be purged or primaried out. In the dating or gender space online, you've got legitimate misogynists, the hardcore red pillars, declaring that married men who love their wives and kids, pursuing traditional family units and family values. These things are actually cucked and beta and soy and Reddit and leftist, which I recently covered in my Wife Jack video. And here in gaming, it's Christians versus gamers. There are other subcultures where this has been happening. Function, or else the
I'm
left wouldn't
confused
do it.
on that. Hold
it's
on.
a part of consolidating power after you've grasped it. Once you're on the throne, you have to cut the fat and keep only the most loyal supporters. If you want more details on this, read the Dictator's Handbook. Or hell, just watch CGP Gray's videos on the topic. Understanding this explains everything. In actual politics, the MAGA people have switched from, we're a big tent, we represent America, the common man, to screaming that no deals can be cut. All non-MAGA supporters need to be purged or primaried out. In the dating or gender space online, you've got legitimate misogynists.
These men are all controlled fundamentally by women and their desire for them. The online dissonant right is full of retards, simps, and feds. Nick Fuentes is the only one. Wait, what? 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 Huh? Okay, let's continue. Absolutely, we'll be streaming Thursday Devastator. You already know what it is. We are not going to finish this, by the way, this video. There will be part 3, which will be tomorrow. What sort of word vomit is that? I don't know, Miss Bella. Like, that's insane. But we will continue.
The hardcore red pillars, declaring that married men who love their wives and kids.
And since you're already up, can you do me a favor? I'm comfortable and don't want to move. Huh? See, this is where like when people intrude on your dinner table, you know, sort of deal. Yeah, Linda, I work tonight. Like when people do that, like I have a fucking issue with it. You know, like I understand having, your general online culture. That's one thing. But when you try to be intrusive on people's personal life and personal, like, yeah, like y'all need to take a fucking step back.
Pursuing traditional family units and family values. These things are actually cucked and beta and soy and Reddit and leftist, which I recently covered in my Wife Jack video. And here in gaming, it's Christians versus gamers. There are other subcultures where this has been happening too. And if I do ever actually get around to that
money,
James
homie.
Lindsay woke right video, maybe I'll go over them in that. But for people like Smash or Savvy, people who are not hardcore ideologically possessed, pure committed Trump dick suckers.
Oh no. Oh no, here's where the TDS comes in, I guess. Your complacent cast, he's talking about you. Oh shit. Dude, the Smash picture is hilarious. The Smash picture is hilarious.
And beta and soy
Hold on,
and
let's hear
Reddit
this
and
whole thing.
leftist, which I recently covered in my Wife Jack video. And here in gaming, it's Christians versus gamers. There are other subcultures where this has been happening too. And if I do ever actually get around to that James Lindsay woke right video, maybe I'll go over them in that. But for people like Smash or Savvy, people who are not hardcore ideologically possessed, pure committed Trump dick suckers, but who still nominally supported Trump because they didn't like Biden or Kamala, basically, to the right wing, their usefulness ran out. I'm not denigrating you two for who you voted for. I don't like Trump, but your vote is your vote, guys. That's your right. But to the actual ruling coalition, the ideological support structure, the drivers of messaging and thought in the various cultural spaces.
I think this goes back to the reality that TDS does exist on both sides. Like I said, I've personally experienced it. In terms of people being for and against Trump. TDS is a thing. It is. It's not Christians versus gamers, though. There are a lot of Christian gamers. And there's a lot of Christian gamers that are completely open to just free expression in video games. They just choose to not support whatever. But here's the thing. When you have the religious zealots that do promote, their behavior, like the thing is, the people in the middle are going to just chalk it up to like Christian versus gamers. And that's sad because like I said, there's people that are Christian that absolutely hold the same sentiments I do. I seen it on YouTube 2016 when the first TDS happened. Yeah.
Spaces online. You guys were used by them, and now that you're no longer useful, you're being discarded by them. The time of tactical live and let live is over. They are now moving in on your neutral spaces. In case you think this is somehow me simping for the left, no, those fuckers do this too whenever the pendulum swings back. I've got no love for them either. They're not innocent.
Well, here's the thing. So, I think the one thing... Now, to me personally, I think that the, zealotry of the right side, I think that they're just way less popular and have way less power than ever before. That's weird because I'm Christian and I'm a gamer and I find this pearl clutching weird no matter who does it. Exactly, Miss Bella. And there's a ton of people just like you. I'm criticizing his generalization. He's an atheist, so it looks like he's making a jab. Poor word choice. Yeah, and you could say that too, and that's completely acceptable for you to feel this way. But at the same time, too, it's like when you say woke, right? It is a generalization, but also it's one of those that we use at times because we've explained what we're talking about, and we want to just continue the conversation without having to explain exactly that thing. You know what I mean? Christian doesn't mean you loathe the goat head. It's more of comedy than anything. I'm kind of confused what you mean by that, Menu. All right, Dax. Have an awesome Happy New Year, sir. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Too much gooning versus too little gooning has driven these sides to insanity. This is true, Lindo. That's fair to say. A ton of conservative conservatives have TDS. Trump isn't really a conservative guy. He's a mid-90s New York Democrat. And yeah, a lot of his stances are like very much like that. It is actually very fair to say that.
But currently, it's the right wing that is actually doing it. The right wing is not your friend. The tradcons were always waiting to let the mask slip and turn on you. And now that they're both culturally and politically ascendant, expect more pushes for censorship to come out of your fair weather friends in the coming years, not less.
Titan has freed us!
Oh, I wouldn't say free. More like under new management.
Trump's electoral victory is one big reason this all kicked off in the past few weeks.
Well, I think, say if Trump does become super censorship heavy, whatever have you, right? Because you never know. Like the thing is, like, the left lost in an absolute landslide in the election. That is a fact. Like, they lost gloriously. Now, Trump could be humble about that. Or he could be like, hey, since they're so weak, let's expand our power. Right? And it's like, you could do that, but whatever ground you just gained, you will instantaneously lose. It is so unpopular to be like a conservative because conservatives have rejected culture for so fucking long to the point where they really created lifelong haters of their side. If Trump's son says no censorship, Trump will usually listen to him. Hey, man. Sometimes your kids know better, bro. It be like that. Trump has already said he doesn't agree with violence in video games. And yeah, that's fair too, for sure. So what I'm saying is, like, I'm not going to assume that Trump is going to do, like, overreach, but it's possible. Theoretically, it is possible. But I think that will instantaneously make a lot of people say, oh, fuck you. And whatever ground that the right has gained with Trump, they will lose it instantaneously. There's so many people out here that have rejected the left because of how off the cliff they've become, but also refuse to ever accept the right because of past grievances. So that's the thing. It is what it is. It's just voted for Trump because I got tired of the homeless and the leftist excuses. And that's fair too. That's fair too. At least there's some conservative, I'm not GOP cast. There is a difference. Many conservatives didn't vote until Trump because of the evangelicals that came out in the 70s from the DNC. And that's fair too. And that's a good point to make. Conservative is a mindset. I mean, for me, I personally don't trust any fucking buddy. At any point, anyone could turn. You know? It just depends on the situations that play. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. I think now more than ever before, there is no good people that run anything. All right, and call me cynical, call me a Debbie Downer, call me a glass half empty sort of person. I am. Absolutely. I don't trust any fucking buddy. We have, in my opinion, there are no actual there are no heroes. All right, there are no actual legitimately good leaders that run anything nowadays. They just present themselves as such until they get what they want or they see an opportunity presented. And some people may think that that's a sad way to think, but I'm sorry, I've lived long enough to see that that's the case. It was always this way. And you could look back to so-called leaders that are looked upon fondly in history, and you could always find something that was fucked up about them. You know? Like even some of my favorite people. A lot of people don't like to talk about this, especially his family. But Bruce Lee, for example, one of my favorite people in history, period. All right? Love Bruce Lee. Can't deny that he had some bad things about him. I mean, they found him at his mistress's house when he had his cerebral edema issue. Okay, so when he died, all right, he was at his mistress's house. He was he's committing infidelity, all right? So his family doesn't like to talk about this because it puts him in a bad light, but that is reality, okay? Bruce Lee was not a perfect person. There's a lot of things I really like about the dude, but he had his demons as well. And that's just an honest conversation we have to have, even with some of our favorite people. James Dean happens to be one of my all-time favorite actors. You can't deny the reality that he was childish. He was manic as fuck. All right, likely it's believed that he perhaps had like he had serious mood swings. I forget what the fuck that's called. He was bipolar. So that's kind of, there's just realities to it. Everyone has their shit about them. There are no perfect people in this world. We are simply just human. Cass Dean? Oh no. Yes, it is very much believed that likely James Dean was extremely bipolar. He was extremely fucking manic. That is a reality. He was extremely fucking childish. If you actually hear the behind the scenes stuff about him filming not Rebel Without a Cause, but oh my god, I'm forgetting the fucking movie. I'm having a brain fart. But his first film. Nobody can rein him in. Nobody could rein him in. Like he would just fuck off the set. He would just fuck off the set and just, he bought like a fucking horse, and he would just tend to dealing with being having bought a horse. He was supposed to film during certain days, and they couldn't fucking find him. East of Eden. All right, the only person that can rein him in to be able to act correctly, to act normal, all right, to actually be reasonable was Julie Harris, his co-star. So all the people that we really, really appreciate that have great things about them, there are also some bad things about them too. They're not perfect. They're human. And I think that a lot of our heroes, they also have bad sides to them too. And I just think that there are no heroes in modern day, especially if they have any authority whatsoever. Tulsi Gabbard is probably the best option we have in this country as far as somebody who wants to be in a leadership role. And even if she is far, far from perfect. Exactly. I definitely, I understand the sentiment. It's so hard to to want to bring anyone to power, so much so that usually the best person for it are those who do not want the power at all. And so that's kind of difficult too. Guys, we're 10 likes away from hitting 100. 100's the goal. So if you haven't hit the like button, it does help me out. But that's how I feel personally. I know that some people may not find that very very hopeful. And I'm not a very hopeful person. I just take things day by day. That's it. That's all I could do. Day by day. Am I appreciative for life? Absolutely 100%. I'm happy to be here. I'm not one of those people that lives for the afterlife. I want to enjoy what life I have on this earth while I have it, because who the fuck knows what's going to happen when it's all said and done. Period. That's just me. I appreciate that, Reverend. What are you doing, Ziggy? Behave yourself. Behave, Ziggy. So that's just how I think about stuff. You fantasize about them crazies, which is fun, but dealing with prima donnas on set is torture for the whole crew. It really sucks. I get it. I get it, but I still love James Dean, bro. No one makes me fucking emotional like a James Dean moment or scene in a film does. All right, East of Eden has some insanely emotionally driven moments that make me feel things when I usually feel nothing. Ziggy's adorable. Ziggy's a little pain in the ass. Ziggy voted Trump. Oh my god. Has some dark discerning past. All humans do. But it's how we move forward that defines us. And as Blue Butt Monkey says, we either run from them or learn from them. Blue Butt Monkey. Shout out to the Lion King. Yeah, like, you know, we all have our mistakes. We've all made mistakes. Like, it's a part of learning and becoming better humans. The goal is to at least try to become better humans. But the problem is, so no one thinks of themselves as the bad person. And so, like, even the people we're discussing here, they all think that they're good people, right? It's just that their idea of what is good is vastly different from others, especially when it impedes on other people's personal space and their personal life and how they want to live their life. So that's the biggest issue more than anything else that's being presented here that we're talking about when it comes to the people that we are criticizing. Eagle says, lies, I hate myself more than most people. Well, I don't think that's fair. I never agreed to being good. That too. That too.
But it's not the only reason. There's a second, less important but more personal reason. It seems to be the case that the three main people we've spoken about today came to their extremist version of religion after suffering a personal tragedy of some kind. I'm not going to mock them for what happened or anything like that. However, understanding context is important. And yes, this entire section will be my own.
I think that's the case on both sides, possibly. See, I'm not familiar with the personal tragedies of Melanie, so I'm wondering how he comes to this conclusion, because I'm not hearing any real personal tragedies of great, like, you know what I mean? But I have observed this with like the left side of things. Like, a lot of people that are, and not to pick on trans people, but a lot of people who are trans, a lot of them, more often than not, have had serious fucked up shit happen to them. And on that, I do feel, you know, I have great sympathy for that. And a lot of people who tend to be a part of LGBT, a lot of them seem to have endured a lot of personal tragedy or some great tragic moment. I'm talking about some really fucked up shit. And I definitely think that definitely has something to do with who they become. It does. Yes, I'm definitely Philip, I'm very aware of some of the fuck shit that Blair White has experienced. obviously can't really get into it in great detail. Yeah, like great trauma definitely leads to shaping you in certain ways to cope with that trauma, especially when you haven't addressed it in a healthy way. So I'm not really too familiar with Melanie Mack having an insane level of trauma. He hasn't discussed that at least yet. Maybe he will. But yes, Melanie has had a stalker, but that's after she became a religious zealot. Well, Lurch Troll, it's not to be sympathetic, but it's more so to understand why extremists become extremists. Because a lot of the extremists, even on the side that we criticize, has dealt with some level of trauma. Now, a lot of the extremists use that as an excuse to fuck with other people, and that is unacceptable. But to understand what makes people the way that they are, you have to at least be able to objectively decipher their story. You know what I mean? You think the divorce broke Melanie? That's fair to say, Snake Doctor. That makes more sense. Oh shit, I was mostly joking. I know what you meant. I got you, Lurch Troll. Appreciate that. I had a tragic moment when my Xbox broke and I had to be a PC gamer for 2 weeks. Yo. What's up, Randall Rick? But yeah, it's like to understand what makes a zealot or an extremist, whatever have you. Because usually it's a reaction to something that has previously happened. Happy New Year to you as well, bro.
Own opinion. I fully admit I'm doing some armchair psychologizing here. It seems like Dread Roberts found God after losing a child. And considering the little bits that I know about him, which I admit isn't much, to me...
Yeah, that's rough. I can't wait till my son in arms again. Jesus' return can't come fast enough. That's rough. That'll fuck anybody up. So that makes sense. I can at least see why that would happen, even though we don't know for sure exactly what put him down that path. Yeah, like any parent losing a kid, that's fucking devastating. I can't even like with me, so like, and I'm not saying I can directly relate. I cannot. I've not had a child. But in my life, I went from my grandparents essentially taking care of me to me essentially taking care of them. It's like how do you say, like the roles reversed, and my grandparents essentially became babies, and it's like taking care of babies, except they're adults. And so like in an indirect way, I sort of relate because losing them was even harder because like, you know, I kind of take care of children and then eventually they leave the world, and then it's like, you know, I can kind of indirectly relate a little bit. My condolences to him. That really sucks losing a kid. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It feels like he's basically just holding on to that thread of hope of an afterlife. It's no secret that Melanie Mack grew up in a small-town religious household that her younger self found to be kind of stifling, and she managed to move out, move on, and make it with a legitimate career in the industry. She's been public about this many times in the past. She was dating a Twitch streamer, Awesome Joey, for a few years before they got married. That marriage ended abruptly after 11 months, after he apparently cheated on her. Melanie ended up moving back in with her parents back in her hometown, and she's since leaned hard into her old religious views, almost following the patterns of an addict relapsing back into their old unhealthy behaviors. And as far as I can tell, Trent hasn't made any sort of tragedy public, but he did give a basic overview of his life's course from his now Catholic perspective. His high school and college years were...
Cass Rogers' neighborhood is crazy.
Very, as he puts it, secular focused, until he met the woman who would eventually become his wife, who was way more religious than him, and then some unexplained real-life events caused him to find his faith again.
Traveled the worldly kind of route until I met my now wife, and she was a she was a Christian, but she was not a Catholic. She was probably described herself as a Baptist, and kind of really brought me back to Christianity. and through some other events in my life, returned back to the Catholic Church and have been practicing my faith as a Catholic for probably the past 3-4 years now.
This sounds like it could be something tragic, but he doesn't really get into it. Interestingly enough, in this 2024 interview, Trent says that 3 to 4 years ago is when he returned to religion. And back in this 2020 interview, you can actually notice the change in his demeanor. He's not stuffing Christian talking points into the conversation constantly. He's actually discussing the topic. Trent really has just morphed into a puppet of religious ideology over the years. Anyway, without knowing any more about his personal situation, and I'm not going to dig too much, and with observing his truly grotesque behavior over the past few years, I am comfortable simply viewing
Lindo, no, we're not going to perverse Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, okay? Gooniehood, relax. Holy shit.
Trent as just a cancel pig that should be ignored and discarded. But for Dread Roberts and Melanie Mack, I do have some sympathy. When your life falls apart, people tend to grasp at whatever keeps their head above water. This is a pretty common human experience. Psychological research shows.
See, now, all of this, like, I genuinely sympathize for them, you know? But the problem is when it then goes from, hi, I'm dealing with a situation and this is how I cope with it, to, hi, I've led this life and I want to force my viewpoint on you now. You know what I mean? Like, that's when it becomes, like, that's when, like, that's different, and that's fucked.
That new converts to a system of belief are stricter adherents than people who have done it all their lives.
We're actually gonna have to wrap this up.
Especially if they converted over during the midst of hitting rock bottom. Basically, when everything around you is collapsing, and along comes a system that has prescriptions, and if you follow them, things do measurably improve for you, people will generally latch onto it during times of crisis. Whether that be religion, or political ideology, or something more mundane like martial arts. If it's communal, provides structure, and offers a clear path of advancement with real benefits to sticking to it, well, any system like that is pretty much what a person needs during a crisis. Melanie...
Yeah, like, see, like, that I know. And I support people finding religion in order to give them stability. If that's what helps you become stable. But that's if you want to commit to that. That's all based upon what you want or desire or need. Now, how someone finds that stability in their life, like, is different. It varies from situation to situation. But I think the most important thing is, like, establishing that you need stability because something going on in your life. And then how you go about it is your personal choice. Now, helping people realize that they need stability is very important, but you can recommend after that point, but you can't force, you know? And the problem is they're trying to force some level of stability in people's lives or force, how should I say, force an answer to the needed stability in people's lives, and you can't do that. And another thing too, it's like they aren't even establishing if people need stability to begin with. There's some people that certainly have stability without necessarily giving their life to Jesus, God, whatever have you. You know, there's people that manage to find it without that, but they want to pretend that doesn't exist either. You know what I mean? And so there is nefariousness to how they go about this kind of stuff too. It's not genuine in terms of they want to help you. It's more so it's genuine that they are completely adherent to their worldview.
In particular, since I knew her in passing from years ago, I don't like what she's become, but I do kind of get it, you know?
All right, so we're going to end it off here because I do have to go get ready for work. After Cult getting a Nazi furry game, I recommend Cass find Jesus. She needs help. I mean, someone gifted me the Bible, Livistro, so that's a good start. She goons too far, needs an intervention. Do a live stream yourself playing games. I definitely do live stream playing video games. The one that I've been live streaming lately is Call of Duty multiplayer because I'm obsessed with it, honestly. But that is definitely my goal for next year. Which is just less than 2 short hours away, to live stream gaming more often. So that is definitely one of my bigger goals. All right, let's see if I can change. Let's see if I could change my camera. And not take a billion years to do so. Are you aware of the game Misside? No, I'm not. Verma, I'm personally not familiar with that game. Is it on Steam? Let me see. Just for curiosity's sake. Me-side. Is this an AO game? It is overwhelmingly positive. Let's imagine you have a game in which you care for a character, but could you imagine one day getting into the game yourself? Well, that sounds interesting. More story-focused game about being inside a game with your waifu. Oh my god, that sounds hilarious. I'll put it on the wish list just for shits and giggles, but that sounds pretty cool. There's a demo for it too. Appreciate the recommend. So when you get your raise, what's a raise? What is a raise? Crazy says it's not an AO. It's a good horror game that was made by two drunken Russians. You know what? That usually leads to some bangers, so I'm glad that I fucking wishlisted it. Hey, Levistra, appreciate that. Appreciate that, homie. I don't know what a raise is, sadly. Sad to say. So let's see if we can raid someone real quick. Let's see if we can raid someone. Uh-oh. Alright. Uh-oh, Ziggy says, hey, when am I getting fed? Usually gets fed at 10. Alright, let's see. Who we got? Who we got on the block? Ooh, we got a homegirl epic treasure? Hold on. Alright, we got the homegirl epic treasure that's live. Alright, we gonna raid epic treasure. Y'all need some cool gaming. Alright, some chill gaming with someone who's a very nice voice, okay? Forget my annoying voice. I'm sending you to someone who has an awesome Australian voice. Holy fuck. Very cool person. We got the RoboCop. Yes, we do have the RoboGoon. Okay? Yes, we added RoboGoon to the emotes. I'm trying to unlock more emotes, meaning I'm trying to earn your guys's your guys' memberships, all right? It's up to me to earn them so that we can add more emotes on deck. So guys, if you do like the content, consider becoming a channel member. It gets you instant access to the Discord, which is awesome. You guys get to recommend videos for me to react to. I won't react to them all, but I'll try to react to as many as I can, especially if they look interesting, and preferably in 10 minutes or less, usually. But got his O face, absolutely. But and also gets you, emotes, all the cool emotes, all right, the Ziggy emotes and the Pam Grier emotes, cause we're fangirls here, or fanboys of Pam Grier, absolutely. I can send my goon girls, yo, rated if they want to come chill with us. We can do what we gotta do. We hit 100 likes. Thank you guys so much. Without failure, you guys come through. And we will finish the remainder of this video tomorrow, okay? At the same time, 6:30 p.m., I will go live. We will finish it. It's a live stream week, okay? Bro, our live stream tomorrow will be the first live stream of 2025. Holy shit. It's gonna be cool. And then, of course, we have the Twilight Zone of Gaming live stream Thursday, 8 p.m. EST. So come hang out with me there. It's gonna be an awesome time. Thank you all so much for hanging out. If you haven't hit the like button, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. We'll finish this stream, this video tomorrow. It was very interesting, very interesting. Scott, Miss Bella, Lilith, Philip, Negal, Felsif, Verma, Silent Knight, you guys are awesome. Raiden Cage, Lindo, Miss Anonymous, you guys are amazing. Ghost, Dark X, Nang, I believe that's how your name is pronounced. I'm sorry if not. Gaming Wolf, you guys are absolutely phenomenal. Lurch Troll, Levistro, Brandon, have a great, safe night. All right. If you're going to be out and drinking, make sure you get a ride. Okay. Have an amazing, safe, happy new year. Much love to you all. Can't wait to see you guys in 2025. Casualties, thank you so much. Scott, you guys are phenomenal. We're going to raid. All right. We are going to raid a dope ass Australian chick who's already in 2025. So be sure to let her know, all right, who sent you, and to ask her how is 2025 going so far. All right, guys. With all that being said, I am out. Peace.